Hello, everyone. Welcome to my 54th live stream. Today is December 30th. I want to thank you all so much for coming to my stream tonight. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all are having a safe, wonderful, and blessed day. So, yeah, guys, who wants to talk about the episode? Because honestly, going back and watching this episode, Walk With Me, Season 3, Episode 3, it's so nostalgic. This is a great episode. So, yeah, I will wait until everyone is here, I suppose, and I will try to get the Discord chat started. So, let's see, join call. Nostalgic, this is a great episode. So, yeah, wait until everyone is here, I suppose. Hey, Matt, do you hear me?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Dan.
What up, y'all?
Just a lot going on right now. I had to take a break from what was going on in my life. I had a tough day, but honestly, I'm just glad I'm here talking with you guys, and yeah, it's just like my brother was he wasn't just sick today. He got tested, and he has COVID.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, dude. I don't even know what to say, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, what a way to end the year.
Yeah, this year, man, this year cannot end soon enough, and just when it was about to, this happens, and it's like, oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's doing all right for the most part. He has a bit of a fever, but my brother, he's really strong, and my family, we're taking care of him, but we're also keeping me especially. I'm keeping my distance because I work every day, and so yeah, that's but yeah, so yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm worried, but I'm hanging in there. He'll pull through. I know he will.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I just this year, this year has not been kind to our family.
Yeah, just when you think 2020, when you think 2020 is about over, and it's like, okay, all the stuff is like done, then it's like, nope, even more stuff happens. Like,
yeah.
Well, we're in the final push now, guys.
Yeah,
I know.
Let's hope 2021 is better than this, because, like, man, what a terrible year.
I don't think it could get any worse than this.
Oh, please don't say that, Matt. You might jinx us. Like tomorrow, like there might be like a serious, something big might happen in the U.S. or Canada or wherever, and just like it's like wow, like at the very last day of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Let's hope tomorrow is a chill day with no crazy stuff happening.
Just some fun New Year's Eve stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, like maybe a live stream. So my parents actually, since my brother got sick, and my New Year's plans with my friends, they were canceled. So we can do a live stream, I guess, possibly tomorrow night if you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. I think that
I was
sounds
thinking
good.
tomorrow we could do a stream, right, where we just talk about like all the Walking Dead possibilities for season 11 and 2021 as a whole for the Walking Dead franchise and stuff.
Man, I gotta say though, 2021 looks, I mean, let's hope, but 2021 looks pretty good for Walking Dead so far. I'll be honest. Like, Fear's good right now, Walking Dead's good, and like, yeah, World Beyond, not as much, but the other two shows are doing amazing right now.
At least World Beyond ended on a high note.
Yeah, it needed to, man. It needed to, because honestly, season 1, I was starting to get really like just not sure about this show at all, and then the last 2 episodes kind of like, okay, never mind. This is actually pretty good. But, I mean, it's just terrible that it got like that only near the end, though. Like, I'm like, wow.
Agreed.
Yeah, it definitely, World Beyond definitely got a whole lot better towards the second half, especially with the characters, except Okay, I don't mean to rant, but seriously, except for Iris, she had no character development throughout the season, I would say.
Oh, that goes without saying though. Iris is just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but thank God tonight we're not here to talk about Iris. We're here to talk about a great episode and a much better Walking Dead character, much far more interesting, the Governor. His first
Yes,
appearance.
absolutely.
So, like I can't believe like this rarely happens, I would say, in The Walking Dead. Like they take a character, okay, The Walking Dead has at times taken a character and made them better than the comic version, but they killed it with the Governor. David Morrissey's Governor is like more than perfect. Like they didn't just get they didn't decide to let's just take a guy who looks like his comic version and give him the same story, adapt it. No, they completely changed his character, but kept the key points. And that made the Governor just so much better. This first episode, when you're watching it, you literally don't get the sense that, oh, the Governor's a bad guy, until he and, Merle and them, and they kill all those soldiers. Then it's like, oh, okay, he's kind of a bad guy. And then when you get to the end, it's like, oh, he's a really bad guy.
No, they trick you because like most of the episode, it's like, oh, okay, they're letting Michonne and Andrew stay and stuff like that. They can contribute and stuff, and then it's like as soon as he shoots the military people, I'm just like, oh, okay, talk about a plot twist.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, like the Governor, it's kind of funny. It's like the way David Morrissey does it, it's so perfect. Like he just the way he butters up people, he's so charismatic and it's fantastic. I can see why a lot of people are falling for, the facade that's not the real him. That,
Yeah, and we also have to acknowledge that Andrea is falling for the Governor in a few different ways too.
Oh, Andrea, season 3. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not a good character. I'm sorry. I didn't mind Andrea in season 1 or 2, but season 3, I'm just like I'm kind of done with this character, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, in this episode, you can kind of see the signs.
Governor, right?
Wait,
I
yeah.
wasn't ever fooled by the facade he pulled, just because I read the comics before I watched the show, right? So when I saw the Governor, I'm just like, oh no, it's this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like binged The Walking Dead because like the first 3 seasons were on Netflix, and at the time I didn't read the comics. So when I was watching this episode, I had no idea about the comics, like because I only started reading the comics before season 4 came on. So I'm like, oh, okay, this guy seems pretty nice. And then not knowing the comic story, I'm just like, wow, they actually they did fool me honestly by just seeing the TV show version.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just knew a little bit about the comic Governor. All I knew that he looked like this and he was a villain for Rick's group. That's pretty much all I knew, So I came knowing he was a villain, but I wasn't quite seeing it. And then like this episode kind of showed me like, why he's a villain.
Well, maybe not the look though, because the Governor in the comic, yeah, he's got like long hair and he's got like he looks a lot different. David Morrissey's Governor though, man, he's so much better than the comic. I just gotta say that.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of rare when they take a character and make him so much better than the comic version. I mean, it's like with Carol, I suppose, for the majority of the show looks completely different and a way better character. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Carol's the most different character because like Carol, I'm just like, man, like Melissa McBride. I'm glad they picked, an actress like her because, man, the Carol in the comic, I'm just like, I'm so happy every day I watch every day. I'm like, I'm so grateful that they did not take the comic route with her character.
Yeah. Looks like Epic has a couple of comments. I'm going to read them off the chat. He says, thank God 2020 is gone in 2 days. Yes. Honestly,
yes, man.
I cannot wait for it to be gone. And he says, Q&A for all 3 of us, actually. Who's the better villain, Negan or the Governor? Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I'll just say that even though the Governor he's a great villain. I love David Morrissey's the Governor, and it's kind of wrong because this is, a stream about a Governor episode, but I just gotta be honest. I think that Negan, in terms of the amount of people he has and the amount of, I don't know, just how amazing Jeffrey Dean Morgan is as the character. Even though I don't agree with the writing with the character always, I honestly have to pick Negan just because the comic version, the way they adapted it, it's not perfect, but I feel like it worked very well. That's just my opinion. I think Negan's a better villain.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I would say. Okay, so after me, Matt will go. So I would say that he doesn't exactly specify if it's comic or TV, but I would say for the TV version, definitely the Governor. I prefer David Morse's Governor over Jeffrey Dean Morgan's because one is the Governor is physically more intimidating than Negan in a way, even though he doesn't have the baseball bat. It's just in terms of size and stature, he's just a bigger like character, a guy. So and he's not Jeffrey D. Morgan. Just the way he is, the writing and how skinny he was in season 6 to 8. It kind of got to me. And I know you're not supposed to fault it, but I feel like because they portrayed it that way, that I kind of have to discredit that version of Negan. But the comic version, so like the TV Governor and the comic Negan, now that's a tough matchup. Honestly, like I'm tied between those two. Like they're great villains.
Right.
What about you, Matt?
Okay, that's how I look at it, right? Governor is a better villain, but Negan is a better character, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does make sense because the Governor never really had too much of an arc, or at least like not a redemption arc, and that's kind of what like Negan has in both the comics and the show he's been given.
Right. And for me in general, like as the Walking Dead main show stands right now, I know some people probably not agree with this, but Negan for me is my favorite character on the show right now. I mean, he does feel kind of like a substitute Rick Grimes for me. I mean, he's got the vibe, he's got the humor there too. And I personally do prefer Negan over Daryl. I know that's can be a very controversial opinion,
Yes,
but
definitely.
I don't know. Like, there's something about JDM's portrayal of Negan that, like, the character just hooks me in right away. Like, as a character, definitely Negan, but as a more, like, scary, intimidating villain that, like, screwed our people over, I would put the Governor because he, like, blew up the prison. He killed multiple people in season 3. But Negan, as an overall character with an arc and a story, yeah, Negan is a character.
I absolutely agree. I think that Negan is the better character in terms of like Governor or Negan. I think that honestly, I may actually agree with you guys on this one. I think that I'm gonna go back and say I think that's why it's kind of hard for me because I like Negan more as a character, but the Governor is a more intimidating villain. Even though Negan does have more people on his side, magically he has like hundreds of people, and they never seem to go away throughout like season 7 and 8.
Yes,
But
totally.
the whole Daryl and like Negan thing, I can see your perspective, honestly, man, because I'm gonna pick Daryl just because I feel like he's a character that I've enjoyed a lot since season 1. Not all the way through, but I mean, I think Norman Reedus has stepped it up in season 9 and 8. Or sorry, not season 9 and 8, season 9 and 10. But I think Daryl is a better character, but Negan, I will say he's my second favorite in the show right now. And there are times where I do enjoy his character a little bit more than Daryl. It just depends on like what episode and stuff.
Right.
Let's see. We got a fun fact from Epic. He says, by the way, guys, it was Lenny James who convinced David to play the Governor.
That's cool.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
I heard about
Thank you,
that.
Lenny James.
That's really cool.
Well, thank Lenny James because like honestly, I cannot see a person who could have done a better job. Like it's impossible.
There's
Lenny
another
James.
kind of comparison though. Morgan in the comic and Morgan in the show. Lenny James like just made that comic character way better.
Definitely.
Here's season 6 is Morgan at his peak, in my opinion.
Totally agree.
Oh, Fear season 6. Okay, yeah. I thought you were. I didn't hear the Fear for a second, and I'm like, wait, season 6, and then I'm like, he was terrible in that, and it's like, oh wait, you mean Fear season 6? Okay, yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for once
I
in
love
Fear,
Morgan.
I actually think that for Fear season 6, I think Morgan, and hear me out on this, everybody seems to say, oh, Madison was a better leader than Morgan can be in Fear. If they keep Morgan the way he is in season 6 of Fear, I will 100% say Morgan's a better leader than Madison in the earlier seasons. Like, not even a question.
Agreed.
Let's see. Epic says I meant for the TV universe. Yeah. So for the TV universe, yeah. Personally, to me, the governor was he was a better villain, I would say, because like even though he had a shorter time on the show, and I'm just saying that the governor was he actually was in the war against Rick's group. I'm just saying, like, because in the show, Negan he kind of sat down and he was kind of occupied with other stuff during the war. So
Simon did everything.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Simon was kind of leading the war a little bit there. And Epic's got a question for all three of us. If this new show revolved around this returning villain, is the governor, do you see it working? I guess he's talking about the backstory spin-off show that they might do.
Is it confirmed to be a villain or no?
Yeah, it is. It's confirmed to be on one of the villains, like one of the biggest villains of The Walking Dead. So it's gonna be on a villain. We just don't know who it is yet. They didn't confirm.
Totally the governor.
I hope so. Please, don't have it be Dawn and her cop brigade. Please, no.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, like the actress. I think she did she did a good job, seeming like a cop who like leader who doesn't know what she's doing. But like as far as like a villain, she just wasn't that character. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I don't fault the actress. I just fault the writing, honestly. And that goes for some villains. I don't fault the actors. I feel like for the most part, they pick good like actors and actresses to play villains. But sometimes it's just the way they write it. It ruins the character. And for her, it definitely was the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's two villains that I would love to see be the star of the show. And for me, it would either be the governor or Joe and the Claimers.
Yeah, we got a little bit of Joe and the Claimers from like a really tiny bit from that Red Machete webisode they did. Like we saw a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that's all they're gonna give them too, because like I feel like if they do it again, I feel like the normal like TV fans will be like, wait, didn't we already see that? You know, like I feel like there'll be some confusion there, and then they'll have to be like, no, there's never been a series on it before. But I'm more interested about the governor getting one, just because I feel like David Morrissey would once again knock it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I think that's how you can bring an audience into the show. Joe and the Claimers, they had a really good scene at the season 4 finale. But if you do a show on them, first off, they're despicable guys. I mean, as we saw in the finale, but also. Some people will be like, "Oh yeah, it's that guy that Rick, that Rick bit his throat out." You know what I mean? Like that's all people are gonna remember of this character. Whereas the governor, I definitely think it could draw a bigger fan base.
Right.
Well, also because the governor was a popular. I feel like the governor was a more popular villain mainly because just I hate to bring it up, but the ratings were higher during the time that the governor was around, so more people would be like, "Oh, the governor, yeah, I remember that. Like maybe I'll get back into The Walking Dead now because like the governor's getting a series or something,
Yeah,
right.
They really can only. Sorry, you were saying that?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Who do you guys think are like the most evil villains we've encountered on The Walking Dead? Like the most despicable, like nasty people that our characters have
Jared.
Jared, and then also Terminus. I mean, come on, like Terminus were just some sick individuals to say the least.
Yeah.
My opinion is the Whispers, just because of the baby scene from season 9, episode 11.
Oh yeah, that was really like, whoa, like Alpha, like, are you serious right now? Like, man.
Yeah, the Whispers were just, and especially like the comic Whispers when they were allowing like the sexual assault stuff to go down, like they were even worse in the comics, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this was on HBO, they probably would have actually ended up like doing that stuff. So I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they like, I guess, weren't able to show some of that stuff.
Right. I feel like Alpha was like an actual like evil, despicable person. Where I look at Beta, I kind of look at him as just like a mentally ill person that Alpha completely took advantage of.
I think Alpha is more despicable than Beta.
Yeah.
I mean, Beta was a country, like, I mean, come on, he was a country singer. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he could still have some crazy parts to him. But I feel like the world and losing a lot of the people he cared about, that's what drove him crazy. And then meeting Alpha, it just completely like it just set the foundation for the rest of that character to just be like totally like out of his mind.
It's sad too, because if Beta like ran into our characters, they might have actually have been able to help him when he was still in that state.
That's true. Alpha, like before the apocalypse, who knows? She might have been in a mental institution.
I think she was like probably trailer park trash or something.
Yeah, yeah. That actually sounds very plausible. Epic asks us who's our most hated character in The Walking Dead season 10.
Oh, Carol. Ugh.
Yeah, I would say Carol was just I'm hoping that for the rest of the show they don't have her be like that. I hope that they kind of keep her character kind of more normal to what we like her to be. But I completely agree. Season 10 Carol was absolutely awful, if you ask me.
Definitely. This is kind of a tough one. So I would say character, as far as like hated character, like as far as what they were doing with their story, I would say probably Carol. But as far as which character I wanted, I didn't want Carol to die, because like sometimes when you hate a character, that means you want him dead in that season. But for season 10, I think I don't know, that might go to Scott. I mean, like I don't like. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying it's like as far as like which character I wanted to die, like, because hate means two things. One, either you don't like what they're doing with that character, or you want them dead. And like I think Scott, like I wanted him to die the most in season 10. Like,
how dare you, man?
I just don't get it. Like, how do you survive the Whisper War? I'm just like, what are you doing? Like,
no, he survived the Whisper War just for them to give him the line, "Come on, Judith." I mean, that's important. Like,
oh yeah, big time.
Good thing Father Gabriel survived, because oh man, like he Scott was, who knows, he might have been Judith's next father figure.
Oh dude. You guys already know that in the final season they're gonna reveal that Scott's blood is like the cure to the Walker virus and all that, right?
Oh,
dude. I mean, that would make more sense of why they kept him around this long, though. At least by then I could be able to look back on the show and be like, okay, I guess that makes sense, but talk about forced writing.
I like to say that he has something called Scott armor, and it's because he has the name Scott that he's still alive.
Yeah. Imagine the CRM just come out of nowhere in a helicopter. They just drop off Rick and they take Scott. They're like, see you guys. We're going to take him now. They just
like, who needs Rick, man? We got Scott.
Yeah,
needs Rick. We got Scott.
Whatever his last name is. It's like, we get back Rick Grimes and they take Scott, whatever his last name is. Like,
big reveal. His last name is Gimple.
Yeah, Gimple.
Oh wow, that would be a twist.
Like they changed it up. They changed the lettering up just a little bit. They're like, yeah, his name's Scott Gimble.
Dude, no, like.
Yeah. Epic asks us, I know this isn't a Walking Dead question, but are you guys fans of the Dead Rising games? Actually, kind of. I have played Dead Rising 1 and 2, and they're, as far as like zombie games, they're kind of my favorite, but the problem with it is they don't take the zombie apocalypse too seriously at times. Like, sometimes you can kill zombies with just toys, and it's like, okay, it's a little bit ridiculous. But like, as far as like the story, it is kind of interesting. Like, there is like a secret company that like does things, and they're kind of like the CRM. They take people, walkers, experiment. So it is a little bit like that in the story, but it's just so much in the background. Like, the games are mostly
a Z Nation.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, if they can make a Walking Dead game like Dead Rising, and I'm talking about like it's open world and there's zombies like everywhere in the streets, and you have to, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so like in Dead Rising, there's zombies everywhere, and you get bitten multiple times throughout the game, and you don't die. Your health just goes down. You have to eat some food to, replenish your health. But if they made like a Walking Dead version where, not as much zombies, so you don't get bit as often, like, you know what I mean? Just a game that's open world, third person, and you get like, there's tons of weapons, guns, hatchets, like knives, everything. You can use anything as a weapon. That's one thing that Dead Rising does well. You can use anything as a weapon. And
That'd be my dream Walking Dead game, actually. Is imagine you have like a Last of Us 1 type story, not 2, mind you.
yeah.
Okay, you got a Last of Us 1 type story. You got like a big open world, and you have Last of Us 1 gameplay. Well, that would be like the ideal game right there.
Yes, dude. That's exactly that needs to happen. I don't understand why nobody's actually done that before. Because, like, honestly, you combine all those ideas right there. You know how much money you could make off that? I'm just saying, like, you could make so much money off something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, I wish, man. I wish.
I don't know why the show and Gimple. I don't know why like they just want to keep doing more and more shows. Like I really think
Give us a game.
Yeah, they should. Okay, besides Survival Instinct, besides that game.
Nah, just no, just no.
Yeah, I mean, like, because you said give us a game, and it's like, well, they kind of did, but not Survival Instinct, like something done much better.
I'm telling you right now, the only reason why they did Survival Instinct is just because they know Daryl's a popular character, and they know that if they make a game, they know they probably knew it was bad, but they're like, well, it's Daryl, and then like his brother's here, so you know what? We'll put that on like a cover of a case. People will see that in the store, and they'll be like, yep, I'm buying that. Like I feel like that's the only reason why they did it.
Definitely.
That's disrespectful to Walking Dead fans, in my opinion, that they did that.
Exactly. We deserve, better quality, because we're here, we're supporting them, we're giving them our money, our attention, support. So exactly.
Well, I mean, honestly, like in terms of quality, I mean, Walking Dead, like the main Walking Dead's good. The comic was fine. Fear is actually finally something that I think we can all say is something worth watching now. It's definitely worth watching. But then,
here's a roller coaster.
And then, well, exactly, like in the end. And then the World Beyond, I'm just like, so far, I'm like, I don't know, was it really necessary? Like, even though it had a decent finale, I'll agree, the finale was pretty good. But I still am trying to understand why they made this show so far.
In my opinion, World Beyond should have been like a short film.
Yeah, but like even like a short film, like I don't know, like at least like if it leads into the movie, like then it makes more sense. But I'm really curious to see, like, I am actually very interested to see how season 2 somehow connects to what the movie's gonna do. But it better be a big connect, like it better not be something small. Is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think season 2 is gonna be like split. You're gonna have Hope and her dad in the Commonwealth place in New York, and you're gonna have Iris, Felix, and all the others doing their own thing on the outside of where they are. So I guess that's how it's going to be, but I'm not sure how they're going to connect. I don't know.
Just by the sound of that, it sounds like if it does go that way, that just sounds like a season of like build up, and then the season finale is like something good, but then it's like, oh well, it's over. So like I hope that like there's some things that actually like happen in that season.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to start talking about the episode? Because it's been almost 30 minutes now. Yeah. So you guys know. So in the episode, it starts out with the helicopter crash. It is one of the first things that we see, and I think they did a pretty good job with the helicopter crash. It didn't look. It didn't look fake to me, I guess, or the CGI, or I don't know how they made the effects, but it looked fine to me, very convincing.
No, it turned out pretty good, I would say.
And then we have Michonne and Andrea. They see the smoke and they walk towards it. And, we have Michonne seeing the governor's, the governor's truck coming in. And one thing I didn't get, what did they ever establish what Andrea was sick from? And, like, I don't know. It's just, with now everything going on, it's like, you see, what I mean? It's like, anyone in stories is sick. Somebody might say, like imagine going to on YouTube, typing in The Walking Dead season 3, that scene, and then in the comments, someone might say Andrea has COVID. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the whole Andrea thing, like I do like they didn't really like. I do agree they didn't show like why she was sick, but I feel like they're just trying to like present like the whole purpose of it. I feel like is just to show that it's like look how bad it is for them out here. Like Andrea's sick and stuff. Like they need to be somewhere where they can just live. But yeah, they should have definitely explained like why she was sick. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and we have the governor's men come in, and they're killing walkers, but also stabbing the guys the soldiers who were turned and about to turn. And I gotta say, it's really cool how the governor had his own like private crew. The way that each of them is different from each other, like is like Schrumpert had the bow, Martinez had the bat, and Merle had the bladed hand. You know what I mean? It's just they all have their own weapons. They really felt like actual characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did, because it's like when you watch it, you see them all with their different weapons, like you just mentioned, and then it's like you compare that to I'm gonna say it, like you see the saviors, and it's like they all just look the same sometimes. Like there's no life to it. Like I don't know. I do agree. I feel like these guys, like you just said, every single one of them look different, and they look like original.
Exactly.
In my opinion, the only two stood out apart from Negan was Simon and Dwight.
Yeah.
Simon looked like comic booky at times. Like he looked really cool.
Yeah.
And okay, so this part kind of what did you guys think about this? So we had the part where Michonne tied up her pets, by a tree, and when one of the soldiers became the soldier that was cut in half on the ground, like when he turned, the walkers started like acting out. You know what I mean? Like they sensed it. Like I don't know. That was something. And then the walker walks past Andrea and Michonne and doesn't even notice them. Like that still kind of confuses me to this day with the whole walker camouflage. Like, so like you just have to be near a walker and it's alive, and the walkers won't. You know what I mean? Like eat you. Like I'm still confused how this repellent thing works.
Yeah, it's definitely far-fetched to say the least.
I could see the guts trick. I can always see.
Well,
the
yeah.
guts trick.
If they were using the guts trick, I'd be like more like, okay, that definitely makes sense. But like they're not like nothing. They have nothing just except those like two walkers on chains. Like, come on, really?
Yeah, and Andrea was so close to the walker. Like she was the closest one, and like I don't know. So that might be a small nitpick. Like I don't know. With the whole walker repellent thing, it just maybe a kind of like, at least for me, it might be like a little bit too far fetched in their world.
Well, even because of the fact that when the characters put the guts on, like I love how they handled it in season 1 with Rick and Glenn, because there was that constant worry in that episode of like, well, did we put enough guts on? Like you have to make sure you have enough on for them to not like see like if you're a human or not. But then in this one, they have like no guts, and the zombies just walk by. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and it was pretty bad in Fear. Do you remember how in season 2, Luciana would just put the blood on her like it's makeup, and then just walk through a herd?
Oh, dude, no.
I know. I'm sorry.
I feel like that's what they would end up doing with like, well, not even, but yeah, I feel like that's what they would end up doing with like Alicia. Like any of like the pretty girls on the show, that's all they do. They try to like still like make sure that we can see them, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, come on.
Also, I don't get it. Like, yeah, like seeing them is fine. Like you have to wear the guts on your clothes. So like I never understood why characters put it on their face. You can get it in your mouth or eyes. Just put it on your clothes, on your shirt, pants. That's the safest option. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just
yeah. Nick was fine because Nick at least like covered himself completely with the blood, like the zombie blood and stuff. But like Luciana, it's like, man, she's just like it took her like 3-4 seconds, and then she's like, okay, I'm good. Like it's like, what?
Yeah, it's like I bet it's like and then it shows then it shows like Glenn and Rick chopping off a zombie the guts, and it's just like yeah, you're not good, Luciana. This is how it's supposed to be done.
Well, no, but not even that too. But like just like Rick and Glenn, like even them, like they had like all the like so many like guts and stuff on them, and it was still a worry of like, do they have enough? Do they have enough on them? Like this is not good. The rain is starting. Like that's how you do it, because it's like, man, they had to put so many guts on them, and it still didn't work. They still had to run for their lives. But Luciana just puts like 2 like little like whatever on, and then it's like, okay, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we get the return of Merle. So like, I mean, they showed this in the trailer, so we knew it was coming. The actor was seen on set, but it was still a pretty good reveal. And I think I heard that even Michael Rooker, he actually had to put on some weight for this role. like back in season 3. Like he was skinnier back in season 1, and just so yeah. I mean, just Merle is back, and it's very interesting, like that they brought.
I enjoyed the return. I thought it was a good return scene and stuff like that. It did feel kind of odd that like we didn't see him before until all the way up until when he sneaks up behind them. That part kind of felt off to me for some reason, because like it's like you see them all get out of the vehicles and stuff, and it's like, wait, where was Merle though? Like where was he that whole time? Just kind of a nitpick I have with it.
Yeah, that is true. They should have shown something like after the governor gets out of the car, you see like Merle, but you don't see his head. You see the back of him in the distance, and he goes in a different direction, like, and then he circles around or something maybe they that would explain it, I guess.
Well, they could have even just done something really simple. Like they don't even need to show Merle. They could have just had like the governor be like, okay, like you go down this way or something, like like just something small. So we're just like, oh, okay, so that makes sense of why he wasn't there right away. It's because he was off like somewhere else,
Yeah, exactly. And then Andrew just passes out. I don't know if she just passed. It's like it's funny how she passes out, because like oh boy, like just kill me now kind of thing, because like it's Merle.
Yeah.
But
it's like it's too much for me.
Yeah. Let's see. I think it might be a good time to answer a few questions. Let's see. Oh, Epic says, for all three of us, do you guys see this final season being the best season in the whole franchise? And will it go out with a bang? That's a really good question.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we saw what happened with Game of Thrones. It did not go. I mean, it did go out in the bang, but the bang kind of like destroyed our love for the series. So
yeah, no, like the way they ended, like I hope there's nobody here that hasn't seen the end of Game of Thrones, but the way they ended, like I'll just say, like for spoilers' sake, I don't know, maybe there's some people here that don't, maybe like didn't see the ending or something, I don't know, but like there's honestly the way they ended it with like a couple of the villains, I'll just say the way they had those characters die and stuff, and then one of the main characters of the show, the way they did her story, it just destroyed the franchise for me.
In my opinion, The Walking Dead, it doesn't need to have the same type of ending, but it needs to end like how Breaking Bad ended. It went out with like a bang, but in like a really good way.
Well, Breaking Bad was a fantastic series, and I mean, honestly, all the way through, that show was amazing, and the ending, if anything, Breaking Bad, like the show just got better and better and better until the very last episode. Like they just kept it going, and by the time it was done, I was completely satisfied with the series, and I still am to this day.
Same.
Yeah, although I can't see The Walking Dead doing that, because like the main character, Rick is gone, but also like I feel like one, they shouldn't copy Breaking Bad, but also they got to do something that will make the fans happy. You know what I mean? And it's not easy to do an ending that will satisfy a fan base that has been growing for a decade. So
with all of the characters they lost throughout the show, though, like because I still hear to this day that it's like apparently like Norman Reedus was like texting Andrew Lincoln about like, are you returning for the final season? I'm just like, what I wouldn't give to see him return, but I'm never gonna get my hopes up for that, because let's just be honest, it's very unlikely. If we actually see Rick in the last episode, I will be shell shocked. I'll just say that.
Oh man, I just feel like it needs to happen, because it's the final season.
My whole thing about it is that we started this show with Rick Grimes, I say we end the show with Rick. It bookends the series for me.
Yeah, and I hope the finale isn't like weird, because you know how the finale also has to set up for the Daryl and Carol spinoff and all that?
You imagine the last shot we just see of like The Walking Dead, like the main show. The last shot we see is just like Daryl and Carol driving off. I'd be like, no, man, I'm not good with that. Like, I just know.
Or yeah, and
so much more.
Yeah, like Judith is just like watching as they get on Daryl's bike, and somehow there's gas in it, and just they drive away.
No,
Yeah,
and
I
well,
think
Drive off into the sunset.
I'm wondering how they're going to do it too, because if they do a big time skip like they did in the comic, are they going to have Daryl and Carol leave before the time skip, or are they going to have Daryl and Carol look super old and leave in the last episode after the time skip, and then have a show with them? Like, no.
they're gonna be like what in their 60s. It's like, yeah, let's go off and look for Rick, on the motorcycle. It's like you guys are in your 60s.
Like Daryl's just like, I'll bring my cane with me.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Let's see. Epic asks us. He says, "I love season 3, but you do see that it's not perfect. It's got errors. It killed too many characters. Yeah, it definitely did. Especially
Big
towards
time.
the second
Yeah.
half. I would say the second half. They started having problems, like with the whole Lori hallucinations and." Definitely the finale, but we don't have to talk about it too much. But yeah, the season 3 finale was so disappointing. It's in my like.
Oh, it was awful.
It's one of
Well,
those.
not only that, but like also, not only did they do too many deaths, just Andrea as a character, the way that character went,
yes.
and then like I was actually, I hate to say it, but by the time Andrea was done, like by the time the season was done, I wasn't that upset that they killed her, because I'm just like, if you would have just kept writing her like you did in season 1 and even kind of season 2, you probably would have been fine. Like I don't know. It feels like they did that because they knew they messed up.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
like in the comic book series. This is Andrea's arc during the Woodbury stuff. She's dropping guys like flies with a sniper rifle. In the show, she's sleeping with the governor and saying like, "No, we can work together." Like that's why it didn't work. Like
no, that's the one thing. Like I love this episode in particular that we're talking about, but like the one thing I don't like is how this is. I just can't not think of it. This is the beginning of the end of a pretty good character at first.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what the most frustrating death for season 3 was, in my opinion, and a lot of people are shocked when I say it, and like, it's Oscar for me, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say T-Dog.
Because when they first brought Oscar in, right, and he was, he shot Andrew and saved Rick, and he was kind of becoming a secondary right-hand man for a little bit there. I'm like, oh, Oscar's probably just going to be TV Tyrese, and then we don't even need to have Tyrese. And then they introduced Tyrese, and we all know how that character went. And then they just wasted Oscar the episode before, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Well, yeah, like I feel like they should have just came up with like they should have just done what we were mentioning beforehand, like a little while back, is that they should have just done like he is Tyrese, like Oscar is the TV version of Tyrese. Like, don't tell me it can't work. They could have done it because they had, in my opinion, they had a good actor, honestly.
He also looks more like comic Tyrese than the actual TV Tyrese does.
Yeah, like give him the hat or something. I don't know. And then maybe he finds a hammer somewhere. Or maybe they don't even need to do that. I don't know. Just something.
That was my biggest problem with season 3, though, is that character, when he shot Andrew and saved Rick, I thought, like, okay, this is the beginning of, like, a good, like, friendship between the two. And you're like, he's going to move on past the prison and all that. And then he just dies in a very offhanded scene that doesn't even matter that much. I actually, believe it or not, didn't even know Oscar was dead until someone told me, because I didn't even really notice his death scene because it's so quick and random. I go back and I watch it and I'm like, oh, come on, that's how they kill Oscar?
Well, also because of the fact that they did it to where, like, because, like, I mean, it wasn't as bad as other things like the cave lighting or stuff like this, but it was kind of dark too. Like, I'm just like, wait, who was that? Oh, it's Oscar. Oh, and then you just got to, like, move on because then there's Shane, and then you're reacting to that, and it's like, and then once that scene was over, once Rick killed like the fake Shane, I'm just like, wait a second, no, wait, he's dead, really? Like, all right,
that's probably why I didn't like know Oscar was dead, just because I was super shocked by the Shane cameo.
Yeah, it's like they totally like killed his character, but then they almost like tried to make you forget about it with the Shane thing. And I'll admit it worked because Shane, I love, Shane as a character, but I'm just like sitting here the whole time like, wait, what? Like he's dead? Really? Like, man, they were building him up and then basically for nothing.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest deaths The Walking Dead's ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. So and back to the episode. We have Andrea and Michonne. They're in the infirmary with. She's being treated by Dr. Stevens, and okay, so this part kind of got to me. Whatever happened to Dr. Stevens? Uh, like, because we only see her one other time in season 3, and that's when she is patching up the governor after Michonne stabbed him in the eye, and we never see her again, and they never even address her or mention her again. So like that's another problem I had with season 3. Sometimes like
Yeah,
characters.
them with the doctors. I actually I'm glad you mentioned that because you just kind of reminded me. It's like, yeah, we never really saw a conclusion to that character. So yeah, they did leave that up in the air.
It was also such a missed opportunity because like I mean like this was like the doctor of their community, and it's like, so technically one of the most important people and characters, but we just see her one other time and that's it. And I don't know, it's like I feel like they could have done something with this character, like maybe she was with the governor when he lost his daughter, like she was one of her, Milton, and Merle, and his the governor and his brother. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they could have established that she was one of the inner circle of the governor's group. Like she knew what, kind of had a feeling what he does behind the scenes, but she just follows orders. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we could have had more characters like Milton.
I actually just looked up the Dr. Stevens character, and apparently she was killed in Welcome to the Tombs by the governor. Like apparently she was amongst the ones that were gunned down.
Wait, what?
Not on screen. Not on screen.
No, yeah, that's. I mean, I don't.
That's
no,
what it says.
No.
It says
well, yeah.
She was off screen, killed by Philip Blake.
What? Like,
yeah.
No,
I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either. But like it kind of, I guess in a way it makes sense because like they have to address like, okay, honestly they just didn't bring the actress back, but like that happens with the other characters too. Like I mean, we'll talk about this later, but there was that pregnant woman in Woodbury, Eileen, and she is also listed as being killed in Welcome to the Tombs. But there's no way she went with them.
It's like they try to make you believe that it's like the governor just killed like everybody. Like everybody was a fighter. It's like,
no.
We know that not everybody was there. We know that Tyrese and Sasha were back there with everybody. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it just felt like they were trying to wrap up the Woodbury stuff. Like, this was a great Woodbury introduction. You know what I mean? Like, fantastic. But when we start getting throughout the season, it just feels like they trimmed down the Woodbury cast, and then just by the end of the season, get rid of every single one of them. And it's like, oh, hold on, we could have had some characters left from that story, from that season, but
I kind of feel like maybe what they did is that they kind of like, they're just like, well, we want to make it seem like, because the prison only has like over 10 people, they're like, oh, well, let's try to make it look like Woodbury is like close to that. So like, it doesn't feel like they're like terribly outnumbered, but it's like, no, make that tension rise that they're outnumbered and keep it that way. And then just, I don't know. And then some of these extra characters, just have them be in season 4 at the prison. Like, it's weird.
It is weird. Like, when the governor guns down his people, you only see like a dozen maybe, but there's a lot more, like, I feel like there's like, I thought he had like 30 or something people, but like we only see like a dozen. So like that kind of got me. But
well, also because the fact that they gunned down, because like the governor, that is uncalled for what he did, absolutely. But can I please just add one character I actually did kind of, which is rare that I thank a villain for killing a character, but Alan, man, thank you, governor, for that one.
Yes, Alan. Yeah, that was.
What's funny is Alan had all the chances to kill the governor right there. He literally had the AK pointed at him, and the governor literally, like, almost let him take a shot at him. Like, he's just standing there for, like, 5 seconds. Wouldn't even do nothing.
Dude, the way I see it is that Alan is, like, he's, like, a tamer version, more, I guess, nicer version from, like he's kind of like the Jared of Woodbury, except, like, nicer and, honestly, even more well-written.
Yeah.
I think he was the season 3 Nicholas.
Yes, that too. That's another one he could be compared to, because he's just like, oh, I don't like him. I just do not like him.
Yeah. So Andrea, we have her talking to Merle. This was pretty good. Like, they didn't exactly spoon feed us, but she did mention what happened, like that how Rick and Daryl, they did go back for you, but you were already gone, and how they had to leave the camp. A bunch of people died. And, they had the farm, got separated. Like, you know what I mean? It was a good recap. And, the characters. I don't know. I think it was just. I think it was pretty good as far as the recap. Like that.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like just trying to like make it like where they don't want to drag it on too long to like explain all this stuff. But I don't know. I feel like the way they had that scene played, it's good enough to fill the character in on like what happened to Daryl. But I find it funny how like Andrew's just like Daryl stepped up and became a very important member of the group. And it's like, yeah, Daryl's not like the season one. Like he's not like his season one self at all, Merle.
In season 3, right? You know what I feel like was a huge missed opportunity was to keep T-Dog alive, right? And then have T-Dog be the Woodbury prisoner and have it be like Merle getting revenge for accidentally dropping the key.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why they did the Glenn thing instead is because, I mean, no offense to T-Dog, but I feel like the reason why they had Glenn get captured is because we all know full well there's more tension there because T-Dog, once again, T-Dog getting captured, I feel like there would have been some tension, but I feel like it would have been more about like, oh, Merle has one of their people. Like, that's what people would have been saying. Instead of, oh, no, he has T-Dog, people would just be like, oh, no, like,
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of true. I mentioned this with Dan last time. It's like when Glenn was captured by the Vatos, it's like, oh no, but if it was T-Dog, it's like, oh no, T-Dog got captured. But if it's Glenn, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like World War III. It's like Glenn got captured. You know what I mean? Because like obviously we care for Glenn more. But it's
yeah, exactly.
So, oh yeah, okay. So we have the So we have the. It's morning, and the woman. I actually remember her name. Her name is Roanne, and she appears later in the episode in the governor's bed. And I was thinking, like, oh, okay, this is like the character's only appearance in the show, like in Woodbury. Like she never appears again as well. And I thought, like, okay, like that was weird. Like the governor has this sort of relationship with this other person in Woodbury, but then Andrew comes in, and then it's like that character is just gone.
Like true. Honestly, good on you, Brian, for honestly remembering her name because I didn't even remember her name. That's how like unused she was.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I tried to remember everyone's name from Woodbury and all the characters, like what happened to them, but it's like I don't know. It's just the show just really rushed towards that finale, and they just were like, let's kill off every single one of them that we introduced in this episode, like in the finale. So. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird. Like, also, imagine, like, I don't know, like, imagine if, like, after Andrea's with the governor, imagine, like, she's at the governor's door, and he's like, oh, you can go away. Like, what, like, how, would that be funny or something? Like, just, like, because Andrea kind of took her job, basically, or I guess what?
Yeah, basically, she's just like, oh, man, no, yeah, that would have been hilarious.
So... we have so what else happens in the episode? Okay, yeah, so the governor goes into like this secret laboratory that Milton has, and I'll admit this was funny looking at it because like with the whole Milton and Merle thing where he was like the dog's eating the homework. He called Merle a dog, and Merle got like really offended. And I
love when he's just like, hey, where are we? Back at the schoolyard? You want to take his lunch money while you're at it? I was just like, yes, yeah. Man. I don't know why that line is awesome to me.
It is like I could totally see Milton, like that's who he was, the kid who got his lunch money taken, and Merle, it was the guy who always takes it. Same with Eugene. So like Milton and Eugene, they're just so similar as far as characters. Like both of them, have that feel.
Yeah, they do. Like Milton would have gotten along very well with Eugene because, like, even though it's arguable who's the biggest, like, coward, but, man, Milton, they're very, like, similar people, the two of them.
Definitely. So, yeah, and we have Milton talking about the whole repellent thing, and, he mentions how the walkers are starving. It just, they do it slower. And it's like, yeah, they do it. It takes them 25 years longer. The starve.
Yeah, that's true.
And, Milton talks about how, maybe instead of Merle, that he can talk to Michonne and Andrea, and we get the whole, scene at the governor's apartment where I did like the governor's kind of back and forth with Andrea somewhat about how, like, we're taking back what's ours, we will rise again. I love that because he comes off as so convincing. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, can I please just add one thing about that line though? I feel like we're all gonna have to go back like and search our brain here for a second. But honestly, do you guys remember the trailer for season 3 when the governor said that line and they put that in the trailer? We're going back out there and we're taking what's ours. They made that seem like he was saying like we're gonna go and take that prison from Rick and them. You guys remember that in the trailer?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
That I like that, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, the concept's cool, but later in the season, guys, like I don't know.
Yeah, that's how they do
And
the
then
trailers.
we get Welcome to the Tombs.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Oh boy, yeah. If there's any
What
episode
that was.
if there's any episode from The Walking Dead that needs a rewrite, it's that episode. Welcome to the Tombs.
I should just do like a rewrite of like just that episode or something.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we could all like just get ideas, like just all three of us together and like write the episode together and release it or something.
Imagine we just rewrite it here on the spot.
Yeah,
Dude, I feel like right here on the spot with like honestly, I feel like we already would do a better job. Obviously we do a better job because that was a terrible finale.
Yeah, it's the worst one they've ever put out.
It's definitely one of the worst finales, I think, from The Walking Dead. So yeah, like, I mean, next time, okay, so next stream I'm doing the season 1, episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead, the series premiere. And
yeah, that's very interesting. I'm gonna probably go back and watch that episode as well too, because man, I haven't seen that in actually a couple years now. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
Same.
But after that episode, I'm not sure. I could probably do it this week. So after that episode, I don't know. We could maybe like maybe the throwback reviews. We can do like throwback live streams, but also like rewrite. So like, so maybe like, we take an episode that wasn't very good, like Welcome to the Tombs, and we just all three of us talk about how it should have been fixed or how it should have been done, and it could be like how we would write.
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, sounds good. And so Milton, he's asking Michonne about all the questions, and it's funny. I forgot that line, but when Michonne is just looking at Milton, like about the he's asking about the walkers, and I literally thought this line too. Maybe I forgot it or I subconsciously remembered it, but I'm like, Milton, you're gonna get a fork in your eye, And then Andrea mentions that line later, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that's where I remember. Like, why?
Yeah, I was expecting Michonne to honestly attack him in that scene. I'm not gonna lie, because once again, I said I never read the comics the first time I watched it, so I was like watching this the whole time, like Michonne, just like stay where you are, like don't do anything crazy.
Yeah. Let's see. We can read. We can read some of Epic's questions. He says, "Hey Matt, this is for you. Since I know Dan and Brian aren't into it, do you watch Family Guy?" Yeah, I mentioned last time. Also, I forgot to mention this last time. A big reason, I would say, the main reason I don't watch Family Guy is they make fun of Christianity a lot, and I just had to stop watching it. It just that's a big reason why I stopped watching it. It just But yeah, Matt, do you watch Family Guy or have seen it?
Yeah, I watch it occasionally on Netflix when I'm just bored. I'll flick it on.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a show where you're. I remember watching season 3. It's not a show where like you want to go to your brother's place, your brother's house, and be like, I gotta watch the new episode, tonight, with him. You know what I mean? Because I used to do that back during season 3. I went to my sister-in-law's house. And I would watch the episode, and like I loved it. Just going to their house every Sunday night and just watching the episode. Like, man, I miss those days.
Yeah, Family Guy is not one of those shows, that's for sure. Walking Dead is the perfect show for that stuff, but no.
Definitely. Let's see.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Epic asks, "Hey Dan, Brian, Matt, out of all the characters from season 1 that died, who should have lived longer? Me, I say T-Dog." Man, this is tough. Glenn and Carl, they are the top characters from season 1 that should have lived longer.
I say Glenn, and I'm sure you guys already know this because, well, obviously my rewrites, I kept them alive. But Glenn just simply because I feel like there's so much you can do with that character. Like, honestly, there's so many opportunities that character has. And also, it's a nice switch because everybody was expecting that character to die based off the comics. So that switch is just, I don't know. I find that a lot cooler, honestly.
It is
Oh
definitely.
man, this is such a tough one for me. Okay, plot wise, Carl, but just on a character wise, like that I like, Shane.
Wow, Shane.
Yeah, Shane. I mean, I'll say this. I think Shane's death makes sense, but every time I watch that episode, even though I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I do think it makes sense for Rick's character more so than anything to evolve that character past that. But in terms of the character and the enjoyment I had of his character, I do agree with that. At least one of the characters.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm fine with how Shane went. It was way better than the comic version, and I don't think I would
Yeah,
change a single
same.
thing.
Yeah, Shane in the comics is a nothing, really. He's basically a nothing.
Honestly, Shane is. Oh man, Shane is just not even. I can't. Well, think about it too. If they would have adapted Shane's death in the TV show just like the comic, it would have probably been in season 1, episode 5. That's crazy.
Probably.
If there's one character you could bring back to life, who would it be?
I would. Well, I mean, Glenn, I would say is the main one, but I would say after Glenn, the next one would probably be Carl. Just like you guys said, because of like storyline wise, especially because I just feel like Henry's one of my biggest flaws about season 9. So I would say Carl is like a second, but story wise, he may be first. But like you guys said, Glenn as a character is definitely going to be number 1.
Yeah.
Story wise, it would be Carl, but character wise, like this actually like shocks a lot of people I say this to, but I was actually more sad when Abraham died than Glenn. I was a huge Abraham fan because the guy was just funny as hell.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. I find that Glenn, I find Abraham, the way they did his death is kind of crazy too, because when they kill him, it's almost like, I think about this every time too. It's like Negan appears, he's like, oh, the one-liner guy? No, I'm gonna kill that guy because like I'm the new one-liner guy, you know?
I know, it's what it feels like. Like he's like, there's only room for one of us, bud. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Epic asks us, do you feel if Daryl wasn't in the Walking Dead show, did you see Tyrese being like how he was in the comics? That's kind of tough. I would say if Daryl wasn't in the show, other characters would have gotten screen time, like Abraham, Glenn, T-Dog. They definitely would have done more with those characters in the show because like Daryl took so much spotlight.
Well, I mean, I feel like I do have to acknowledge though that Norman Reedus, like nothing against him, he's always been an actor that I really support, like pretty much everything he's in. Yeah. But but the character overall, I completely agree. So many parts I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait for this moment because there's going to be a character. This character is going to take the comic, like whatever. They're going to take a scene from the comics. They're going to make it awesome. And then it's like, wait, Daryl says, oh, okay. Then like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's kind of tough to say. So like with Tyrese, I don't know if they would have had Chad Coleman, Tyrese. I don't know if they would have made him like his comic version if Daryl wasn't in the show. That's kind of hard to say. I don't know.
In my opinion, if there was no Daryl in the show, then I feel like Glenn would have taken the right-hand man role. Or Morales, one of the freaking two.
Morales. Yeah.
Wait, do you mean like if they would they would just keep him alive, like they would keep him from season 1? Like,
yeah, like they just keep him around and then just have him play the right-hand man or something.
Dude, that's talk about an alternate version.
In an alternate universe somewhere, it's probably happened.
Yeah.
Morales is like the main face of The Walking Dead.
Oh my goodness. That would be hilarious. Epic asks, hey Dan, my opinion, Merle lying to the governor was his biggest mistakes he ever made. So yeah, about Michonne being dead, he lied to the governor.
I would say, I mean, that when I saw Merle do that, honestly, I'll be honest, I was just like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's other ways he could have done that. Like, it put him at risk. And then in the end, yeah, that's what got him almost killed, but kicked out of Woodbury completely. Like, I don't know. I feel like him, like, as soon as the governor had his eye taken out and he looks at Merle and he's like, I was attacked. I felt kind of bad for Merle, but at the same time, I'm like, you screwed up. Like, honestly, I don't know. That's my opinion.
I think the dumbest mistake Merle ever made was smart talking Rick on the rooftop and getting himself handcuffed there.
Yeah.
That really was a dumb mistake. Yeah, that definitely was a bit of a mistake. I mean, it costed him a hand. I mean, I was gonna say arm, but I'm
and
like,
his life in a weird way. It costed him his life because the governor in the end was the one to finish him off.
That is a good way of looking at it, actually. Yeah.
Let's see. So, last one from Epic, then we can get back to the episode. He said, I suggested Killer Within, remember? Yeah. So, I'm trying to plan what live streams I do in the future. So, like, next live stream will be, the pilot episode for Fear. They titled it Pilot. I remember it now. The episode's called Pilot. But after, so what do you guys think I should do after the Fear pilot? Do you guys want to talk about Welcome to the Tombs or Killer Within?
Killer Within.
Killer Within?
Yeah, Killer Within would be good. And plus, because I feel like that's an episode we should definitely cover. I feel like we don't talk about that episode very much. So yeah, I think Killer Within be a good idea.
It's in my top 10 episodes, that one.
Yeah, it's good. I'll have to there's so many episodes now that it's kind of hard to say what's my top 10, but it's definitely it's either really close or it's like somewhere like 10, 9, something like that.
Right around there, yeah.
Yeah.
My number 1 actually is Days Gone By.
Yeah, I don't actually. That's actually a really cool opinion because I love that episode, but I've never heard somebody actually put that as like their favorite. I think that's really cool because I do agree the beginning was really good. It's not my favorite, but it's an episode that I love to go back and watch.
It's the most rewatchable episode for me. Like, I don't know, there's just something about that one. It gives me like George Romero's zombie movie vibes. That's why I love it.
Well, also because they aired that episode on Halloween too, which is also awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's also, which is kind of, I was checking the dates because, I was just checking the dates for 2021. And if you actually go on the Sundays for October in 2021, you'll notice that actually there's Halloween falls on a Sunday this upcoming year. So I'm just like, man, should they do that to start the final season or something? It's just a thought.
Oh, that'd be great. Season 11 premiere. Ooh, Halloween.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's meant to be. I mean, it's late. It's a later release, sure, but I don't know. I feel like that's a cool idea. Like the first season does that, and then the final season does that.
Yeah, we've already dealt with later releases. We had to wait 6 months for one episode this year.
You imagine they're just like, yeah, sorry guys, to repay you, it'll start late September or something.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Where did I leave off on the episode? I think it was.
You were at the part where they were like at the breakfast, or they were having breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Michonne, man, going back and seeing Michonne. First off, I would say no, this is Michonne's second real appearance. Okay, so there was her in the season 2 finale, but that doesn't really count 100%. And there was a scene in the premiere, I think, or maybe it was episode 2, where she gives, she's trying to help Andrea, and then they leave that place they're in. But this is the first real episode with Danai Gurira's Michonne, as a main in the episode. And seeing, I mean, after we had to say goodbye to Michonne in the show, and seeing how she started, it's just crazy. Because, yeah, Michonne was, a really a lone wolf character, not letting people in, not very trusting, but also, keeping to herself a lot. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a good thing that Michonne didn't die because, honestly, I'm just thinking to myself watching this episode, I'm just like, good thing they didn't kill off Michonne in season 10 because speaking of characters that we miss and that we would bring back, if they would have actually killed off Michonne, she would be super high on that list of bringing back characters.
That is true. So anyways, I think what happens after that is, I'm trying to remember. I believe what happens after that is, let me think. The governor is talking with that injured guy, Wells, I think, and with the doctor, I believe, right? And then he, tells them that if you tell me where they are, I'll find your team and bring them back. And at this point, obviously people, they might be a little hesitant with the governor, but obviously they couldn't probably know what he was actually uh, gonna do. Because like when he rolls up with the whole white flag kind of thing, he's coming in a simple car, not like with no weapons kind of thing. And the way he just the reveal of him pulling the gun out when they have their back turned and killing the guys, I mean, just wow, like that.
Man, also another thing about that too is that it's like, man, every time I watch that scene when he's like, "Tell me where they are," I'm just like, man, yeah, talk about more so like, tell me where they are, like, let me go, like take their stuff and I'll bring that back.
Yeah. What did you think, Matt?
To which scene?
When the governor kills the people from the military.
Oh, that scene is insane. Like, it was like brutally shocking too, actually, because you just have them talking. But I had a feeling something was gonna go wrong, just because I felt like there was tension there for when they were just like, it felt too like normal.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, in The Walking Dead, when it's normal, it's like, nope, gotta make it crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Still such a big highlight of the episode, though.
Yeah, I forgot that was in episode 3. I forgot they revealed that so early.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make you like, which this is another thing I love about this episode. They make you at least a lot of people, they make you let your guard down, and then they show you that, and it's like, oh, wow. Like, this is an episode to train anybody for the apocalypse. Like, seriously.
Big time. Don't trust anybody.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so after that, they kill everyone there, and the governor comes back with, all their weapons and supplies and stuff, and everyone just believes it that, they were all killed by, the biters, the walkers, and it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of weird that, like, no one was like, Governor, there's a 50 caliber, gun there that you're sitting on, or something like that, or standing on. It's like, or at least, like, next to him, and it's like, they got killed by, walkers when they had that kind of weapon, firepower, so it's like, I would say, like, Michonne was, when she was sitting down, it was pretty clear, like, she doesn't really buy it, I guess, and later she finds out that, with the blood and stuff, it's like, yeah, she doesn't buy it one bit, like 100% doesn't.
Well, I like how she even mentions too, like, actually, I think it's in the very next episode, Killer Within, the one right after this one. She looks at it and she's like, well, like, do you really think biters learned how to use weapons? It's like, and I like how the governor, he denies it, but at first he's like, oh, like he almost gives that face of like, good point, like,
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay, so small dialogue issue with the whole, I did like the part where, the governor didn't want to reveal his name, but the way Andrea said, never say never, and then he says never, it's like, okay, that was a little bit, that line wasn't needed.
I like how they do it to where, though, like, just, I agree, that line, I could take it or leave it, but, like, I just like how she's like, never say never, and he's like, well, how about this? Never, like,
Yeah, and after that, we have the ending where, yeah, we had the woman in the governor's bed, but we already talked about that, and he goes into his secret room. Before he does, there was that picture of him and his family, and they kind of, that was good. It establishes that, like, to the audience, it's like, oh, he has a family. So at this point, they're thinking, like, yeah, this guy's not good. I mean, he is kind of evil somewhat. Like, because he killed the soldiers.
Also, because the fact that they used in the picture of the family, this is another kind of fact I'd like to bring in here too. His wife, the picture of his wife is actually, her name is Denise in real life, and she actually is somebody that's worked on The Walking Dead for years. So I found that cool.
Yeah. And when the governor goes into his secret room, and seriously, like, David and Morrissey did this so well, because at first, when you see the governor sitting down, he kind of looks a little bit, like, grossed out, I think. Like, the way David Morrissey portrays it. And then he starts getting docile to it. Like, the way he's staring at it, he just, the emotion in his face just goes away. You know what I mean? Like, as
that's true.
As he's looking at it, and it's like, I mean, I made this joke earlier, but I'm like, oh my goodness, like, the governor, he must have missed TV when the world ended so bad, like... because this
Yeah,
is not
exactly,
TV.
man.
This
Well,
is not
also because
TV.
the fact I love how you just mentioned that too. It's like when he walks in there, like before you get the reveal of the fish tanks. Like if you're a comic reader, you know what's about to happen. But like when you're sitting there and like he sits in the chair, he kind of like looks at his glass or whatever first for a few minutes. He looks like you just said. He looks very like kind of upset with himself. And then as soon as he looks up, it's like this switch comes on, and he's just like, no, I'm evil and I'm proud of it, like that type of stuff.
If the governor was so desperate to watch something, you should have gone to the kingdom to go watch a movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have helped him out mentally.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, he would have destroyed the kingdom probably at this point. And like just to watch a movie, like, or he would have said something like, yeah, the biters got there before we did, but let's not take what we have for granted. We have movies now. You know, imagine if he gave that speech in front of everyone.
And then he just sits in his room and he's just and then this time the reveal is like a TV. It's like, wait, what? Like,
Okay, what do you guys think of this idea? If Negan were to go out to that area where the prison was and stuff, it was Negan with all the saviors, right? And they went to Woodbury. Do you think they would have been able to make the governor like one of their enslaved communities, or do you think Woodbury would have been able to fight back like Rick did?
like an outpost?
Like one of the communities
Subjugate 'em,
that
right?
have to go and basically like go and get them stuff, and they take half their stuff.
Well, honestly, I feel like with that one, it's kind of a simple answer. As unfortunate as it is, I feel like the governor, he's so crazy. He would have tried it. And this is how the TV show works, is that they just have like countless saviors for like all
Yeah,
these
so
seasons. Like I'm just
true.
like, I feel like I hate to say it, but my final answer to this is he would have got himself killed. I hate to say it, but with the amount of saviors Negan had, I feel like the governor, because he's so crazy and he's a villain, he would have just gone for it and got himself killed. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, and this is before he had the tank too. So yeah.
Exactly. We know that Negan would win against the governor's group, Woodbury, simply because Negan has just way too much manpower. The governor, he's got a good amount of firepower, but only a small group of people who can actually fight pretty well. So, like, whereas Negan has like countless upon countless. So, but I think a good matchup. Can you guys? What about Alexandria in like season 5 and Woodbury season 3? Like, imagine that versus.
Well, I mean, honestly, for me, like, also, I would also like to add too that I think that the whole governor thing. Another way you can also look at this too is that like you see how hard it was for Alexandria, Hilltop, and the Kingdom, even all those communities to beat Negan. But like all those people just narrowly beat Negan and the others in the season finale, season 8. But let alone Woodbury, oh no, they would have wiped them out quickly. I feel like.
Yeah, the governor would have done a decent fight, maybe taken out an outpost or something and stuff. But Negan just had too much manpower.
Oh yeah, the governor's strong enough to take out an outpost. I just don't think that, like in terms of the saviors, no, I think that would have gone down. That would have been a quick war after the first outpost.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Wow. Looks like we have a new person. Hello, Brian Griffin, fan 23. He asks, "Hey Dan, Brian, and Matt, who's your favorite character in The Walking Dead season 3?" I would say, well, since Glenn has been my favorite character pretty much throughout the whole show from season 1 to 7, I would say Glenn.
I think Brian Griffin fan is epic. I think that's epic.
That could be epic. He is asking the questions very similar, but I don't remember
Yeah.
him having. I don't remember him having an account like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Epic. If that's you, man, let us know. Yeah.
So who'd you guys enjoy the most in season 3?
Honestly, I hear me out on this, but I think that if I had to pick like out of the two groups, I would say the governor was probably the funnest character in season 3. But season 3 just impressed me so much with what they did with Michonne. That's my answer for that.
Yeah. What about
Me,
you,
it's
Matt?
Merle, just because of how crazy and like wacky he was.
Yeah, he was fun. He was a fun character.
Plus, I love the scene where he fights Daryl, but it's all a ploy for them to escape.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
not the governor's
Great scene.
not the governor's smartest idea. Hey, these two brothers are gonna fight to the death. It's like, You really think they're gonna? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just like fight to the death. It's like, okay, like if you actually get them to do that, like I will applaud you. Like seriously.
I know. Like that's not something. I don't think even Negan can do that. You know what I mean? Get two people.
It
I mean, like two people who are related. Like and care about
well,
each other to fight to death.
it just shows the confidence the governor has, though. Like honestly, it's like, man, tone down the confidence just a little bit, because like that's kind of too far.
His
Yeah.
overconfidence was his undoing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just like Negan.
Yeah, just like every Walking Dead villain, really.
Well, also because like the fact that like when the fight went south, and then you had like Maggie and Rick that came in and like saved both Daryl and Merle, the governor didn't even look surprised. He looked happy. Like I'm just like, man, like I don't know. I love that scene.
Let's see. Brian has another question. He asks, "Who's the better villain, the governor or Carver?" Definitely the governor. I prefer the governor over Carver.
Absolutely the governor. Not even a question for me.
Carver is my favorite Telltale villain, but comparing him to the TV show villains, he just feels like the dollar store governor.
He does.
I even think Gareth is honestly a better villain than Carver.
Agreed.
I also
show you Telltale never really had strong villains.
No.
That kind of is true. They had amazing characters though, with Clementine and AJ and Lee. I mean, great.
Kenny.
Yes, Kenny. We're at Kenny too. But as far as the villains, even though the villains have been pretty bad, I feel like they're kind of in the fear category, but nowhere as bad as Martha or like Logan.
I mean, honestly, I think that's when Telltale wins though, because I mean, Fear. I'm sorry. I think I may actually pick the video games had better villains, because Fear just ruined all of their villains, like just one after the other.
Fear's best villain was easily Troy.
Yeah, and he was within the group.
Yeah, if you can call him a villain, it's kind of weird. He's like an anti-hero character, I guess. So
he's like Shane, where like people don't know where to place him.
Villain in episode 12 when he brought the walkers to the ranch, because he killed like everybody.
That's true.
I'm gonna argue this though, because I'm gonna say this because it seems like nowadays Madison is just like a legendary character. But honestly, I'm sorry to say, I don't think I've ever said this before, but I feel like Madison should have, and hear me out on this, when she killed Troy at the dam, I'm just like, okay, it's a little late for that. But when she had the gun and when they like kicked him out, that's when I feel like Madison should have killed him, because I'm sorry to say, it's kind of her fault, because she should have known that Troy was going to do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. In my opinion, Troy, if they had to kill him, they should have had Proctor John kill him.
Yeah, that's true. It made Madison look like just, I don't know, I was annoyed with her for the rest of that like double finale they did. Like for the whole rest of the episode, I'm just like, okay, like can you just like not give her screen time or something? Like I'm done.
Yeah, that's why in season 4 when she died, I was like, whatever.
I know, and now she's like apparently alive still, or like at least like it's a possibility now, and everybody's like, Madison was so great. I'm just like, I won't be upset if they have a return, but I don't know. People are talking like as if she's like Rick or something. I'm like, no, guys, she's not.
Yeah, Madison's not
screw up
close.
Alicia's character development.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like the damage is done. Bringing back Madison won't really do a whole lot.
Plus, we have Morgan now, and I feel like Morgan, as a show lead for season 6, has been doing great.
Well, I was more so on the side of like, yeah, maybe Madison could return when I said like season like 4, second half, or like season 5, because I'm like, okay, you still have a chance to kind of do it, but now like we're in season 6, like now it's like, okay, it's too far away, and now also Morgan is finally becoming a good leader after all this time. Like I'm like, nah, you can keep Morgan, honestly.
I'm down. Like Morgan, honestly, like the character has improved immensely for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, man, like Daryl has never been a big lead type character, so I don't know. I'm like looking at it now. I'm like, think about it. We got Daryl as lead for Walking Dead, and Morgan as the lead for Fear. I'm starting to be like more like, okay, like actually Morgan's actually a bit of a better lead.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Like I would literally pay money to have Morgan like this over on the main show right now.
Oh, if only they kept him.
Oh man, what a waste. You know, Angela Kang's trying to get him back.
I don't blame her, especially if she's watching like this season. Like she's probably like, okay, I like really could use his character.
I feel like Morgan will be back for the final season.
Yeah, I don't. That would be cool if they did like a big crossover thing, but I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up. It's like Rick. Like I'm not getting my hopes up for that either.
Right. Yeah, in my opinion, Morgan will either appear in the final season potentially, or he'll leave. He won't die on Fear, in my opinion. Like you can't kill the main show characters off on a spinoff, right? In my opinion, he'll either go to the final season or he'll go to the Rick movies. It's gonna be one of the two.
Agreed.
Yeah, if they cross over Morgan into the last season of The Walking Dead, season 11, then they would have to. I mean, we're gonna get Fear season 7. They confirmed it, so they would have to find a way to make that work. You know, as far as the actor. And
maybe they want to listen to the fans and just be like, you know what, fans keep demanding that like Alicia should lead or something. I don't know. Maybe they're just like, you know what, Madison, she's long gone. Morgan, he belongs on Walking Dead. People still watch for Alicia. Let's just do that, you know.
Yeah, I'd be down. And then I guess Dwight would have to stay on Fear because I think there's like legal issues with Austin Emilio on the main show or something.
I still don't understand that whole legal issue because like I thought maybe like because like I heard rumors there was a scene where like Dwight pushes a savior to his death, and I thought like, oh, like is the legal issue like that Austin Emilio actually tried to push a stun guy on the mat, but it didn't work out correctly. Because like I was thinking like, man, that must be a terrible situation to be in. But like I heard that wasn't the case, and I'm just like, I don't get what the legal issue is.
Well, I feel like that's the only reason why they kicked him off the show, because you gotta admit, like season 5 Dwight, he's kind of just nothing to me. And then season 6 Dwight, I'm like, well, you know what? The writing is better and the acting. Austin Emilio is always on point, but the character, I'm like, yeah, I like him more in season 6, but I feel like I'd much rather see him on the main show.
Yeah, he ain't no Morgan on Fear. I'll say that.
No, definitely not. He's a good character to have. Like I'm not gonna complain, but I feel like Dwight and Morgan, for that matter, you can't talk. Speaking about legal like issues, you can't kill Walking Dead characters on Fear. That should be something that's like against the rules.
Yeah, that is like unspoken rule.
Spin-off. It's a spin-off show. It's like, and I'm just saying this generally speaking, obviously, but it's like Negan going to World Beyond and then like he just dies there.
Well, yeah, actually, that is very funny that you just mentioned that. I was just about to make that comparison with Rick. I was like, what if like World Beyond is just to show like finally like Andrew Lincoln decides, you know what, I'll be in season 2. And then they just kill him off in season 2 and be like, guys, we wanted to like fake you out with the movies. Rick dies in World Beyond. Like what?
Oh man. That would be the biggest waste of time ever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Epic because actually this is Epic. He said it was his gaming channel. He says, my opinion, I hate World Beyond, new term for the walkers, empties, just so dumb and lazy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't like empties.
That term.
It's an empty title.
Yeah. He says, I love that moment because it's lets you know that yes, he's the same person from the comics. I'm guessing Epic is talking about the governor looking at either killing the soldiers or looking at the heads. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. And yeah, I wanted to mention this too. They improved Woodbury and the governor so much from the comic version. So like, just the way the governor came off in the comic, he just, the way they did it was so, I mean, I'm not saying it was bad in the comic, but it just, like literally in the first issue you meet him, he's just like, well, like he tells Rick that, yeah, we feed the zombies stranger, like he calls Rick a stranger, and it's like I don't know, that was kind of like, it's like, wow, really, like first issue, you know what I mean? But
well, also like they have the first issue of him just like, or not his first issue, but like when he's first introduced, he cuts Rick's hand off, and I'm just like, well, I do like that because it's like a villain move, like it's like, oh whoa, like what? But in the end, I don't know, I always found like Rick only having one hand in the comic, I'm like, oh man, like I don't know. Did they have to? Is kind of the one thing I keep saying, but yeah.
I mean, Kerman even said like he regretted it.
I think he should have. I think he should have made up his mind the other way around. Honestly.
Another thing is, I won't mention what happens because it's too brutal to mention on YouTube, I'd say.
I
But
think I know where you're going with it.
you guys know the Michonne and Governor scene
Yes,
where
I'm
Yep.
glad
the
they
governor
cut that
is
out.
left in a bad state. Well,
Yeah, no.
in my opinion, the governor should have died from that. Like he should have been dead after that.
No, if somebody would have came in right, like if somebody would have came in and just killed the governor or something, like right away, I'd be like, okay, you know what, good villain. But after that, fine. Honestly.
Because he was so like messed up that looking at he looked dead. Like I don't know how he survived that.
Well, I'm just glad they didn't have David Morrissey do that in the TV. Well, also because they just can't do that, I feel like. But also just like I'm so glad they didn't have David Morrissey portray some of that kind of terrible stuff, because then it would have been, because I love David Morrissey as an actor and as a character, but if they would have done that, it would have been hard for me to actually enjoy his character. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
Exactly.
I'm so happy they avoided that on the show, man, because I feel like it demeans the character completely. After
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Do you guys I mean, Game of Thrones kind of did this with Ramsey, and it was like, if HBO couldn't do it, then yeah, AMC definitely couldn't have done it.
Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
like I've heard a lot of fans actually say like, wait a minute, they didn't adapt that. It's like, honestly, no, I'm good with that. Like, I don't know why. I've heard so many people say like, wait, they didn't adapt that. I'm like, no, keep it the way it is.
I don't need to see that in live action. Thank you very much.
No, I already had to take a break when I was reading the comic. When I was reading it, I'm like, hold up a second, and then I had to go back.
My stomach turned reading that issue.
Yeah,
Definitely. It's definitely something that, taken out is just much better. Because, yeah, they keep the governor's important key characteristics, but also make him so much better. And it doesn't turn off the audience. They don't. It keeps them engaged. If they did adapted it from the comic, then the audience would have probably just left. You know what I mean? They probably would have been like, okay, this show is. You know what I mean?
that would have been like the Glenn moment. Like that would have been the Glenn moment done early, and the ratings would have went down right then and there.
Mhm.
And then season 5 and 6 would have been like season 9 and 10, good seasons, but nobody knew because nobody watched.
Yeah, it would have ended sooner. You know what I mean? The show would have declined faster. Oh boy, that would have been bad.
You just hear reports. You just hear reports of Andrew Lincoln leaving in season 4 or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That would have been terrible.
Failure.
Um,
I remember now. Yeah. If you guys didn't know, the reason that was put in the comic, Kirkman said, was because he was going through stuff in his life, which means he took his anger out on the character.
Dude,
wow, what?
That is messed up. Yeah, it's probably what he did with Maggie. You know what I mean? That when she lost all her family, and then Glenn, you know what I mean? Maybe maybe Kirkman was dating someone named Maggie, and then she broke up with him, and he tortured Maggie in the comics.
No, dude, no.
I'm telling you, the biggest waste from the whole comic prison war was Billy.
Yeah,
definitely.
They definitely could have done more with that character. That was a lot of kind of like how Dan said earlier with Glenn. There was just so much more potential with Billy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Glenn is a perfect example of a character that needs needed more time in the TV show. In the comic, I feel like it makes a bit more sense, but in the show, Stephen Yeun, keep that actor on the show. I'm just saying, I don't know. And Billy, it's the same thing.
In my opinion, Glenn would have been a good Pike death.
If I did hear the actor was kind of getting tired of the role, so if season 7 could have been all the Negan stuff, then yeah, season 8 I would have given Glenn the Pike deaths, because maybe the actor said, okay, I'll do another season or 2 and that's it. I got to get a death, and I think the Pike deaths. If the Lucille one, if I past the Lucille deaths, I would have done the Pike right after.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole Glenn Lucille idea. It needs to be taken out completely, and just if you're gonna kill Glenn on the show, don't do it anything like the comic. Do it to where it's unexpected. And hear me out, but I personally think that season 6 with the whole dumpster death thing, that is, even though I don't like that idea for Glenn going out, that there's an example of like something completely different that they did to like shock people.
At least
It did shock, yeah. It did
Well,
shock
exactly.
people. I will say that the dumpster moment was more shocking than Glenn's actual death because you saw it coming.
Well, yeah, I was watching the season 7 premiere. You guys remember when they released that like right-hand man sneak peek like a few days before with like Rick and stuff?
And
I
the
was
blood
like,
on his face.
well, yeah, like I was sitting there the whole time, like I just kept saying Glenn, like Glenn. I just kept saying Glenn because I'm like, yeah, like that's what they're about to do. And then you watched it and it's like, oh, they kill Abraham? Oh, okay. But then when they kill Glenn, it's like, yeah, it was shocking because I thought it was I thought it was over, but then it's like, yeah, but I kind of was ready for him to die. Like, you know, like I was waiting to see that.
Yeah,
You know, and it's like we all knew Daryl wasn't going to get the death just because AMC are like, well, they'll never kill Daryl. Let's be honest.
No, I mean, man, they even made a pointless game about him. They're not going to kill off Daryl.
Exactly. I mean, at that point, if they killed him there, I feel like the ratings would have dropped even worse because everyone would have just been like, there's no more Daryl. I refuse to watch this. No more Walking Dead. Nope.
All the fangirls would have just been like, I'm done.
Yeah, all the Daryl fangirls would have been like, no Daryl, no Walking Dead.
Nope. And look at this now. Like, now he's the lead. It's like, oh, wow. Like, just crazy how that went down.
I kind of feel like him and Negan co-lead it.
I'm like, maybe an unpopular opinion. Well, it is, because I don't hear a lot of people say it, but I love that episode in season 10 when they take out those whispers, like they take out the whispers together. That is an awesome, like, moment to me. I love that scene.
Yes. That's actually a top 10 Negan moment for me.
I love that. That was so cool.
I jumped out of my seat when he's just like, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got some more questions from Epic. Let's see. He says, to all three of us, do you think the governor was killed off too soon, or should he have lived longer, like made it to season 5? No, I think he died at the perfect time, in the middle of season 4.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, I heard some people say that, like, oh, like they dragged out the governor thing, like just for like ratings or something. I'm like, no, his death, I think it's at a perfect time. It's not too soon to where you wanted to see more from him, but it's not too late to where it's like, oh, another episode with the governor. Like, it's perfect. It's a perfect moment.
I mean, I think
that's good. Yeah.
I mean, I think if you wanted to make it shorter, the only thing else I would do is I would make like season 3. I would have made it like 20 episodes instead of 16, and I would have done the entire governor arc all in one season, like in season 3.
Yeah, give it the season 10 treatment. Like, give it the like 20, like 22 episodes, something like that, and like give it like a couple extra episodes. Really hype it up to be like, wait, why does this season have like so many episodes? And then when you see that last episode, it's like, oh, like that's why.
Definitely.
Yeah, if the governor was a seasonal character, I think I'd be okay with it if they gave him the proper time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't stretch it out too long, like, you know, they did with Negan. They had him for like, 3 seasons. So a season and a half for the governor. I think it's perfect. They could have, like I said, they could have done 20 episodes for season 3, and that would have been fine too. But 16 episodes in one season, that's not enough time. And 2 seasons.
That's why the Negan thing for me, like, that's why I just can't stand it, and that's why I had to do, like, I couldn't help myself but do a rewrite, because I'm just like, this is way too dragged out. Like, it's way too dragged out.
Yeah, especially season 7B.
Oh,
well, I thought when season 7B like was about to start, I'm like, okay, I didn't really like the first half of season 7, but like, you guys watch, like the second half of season 7 is about to be amazing. Like, they're about to introduce these like new junkyard characters, and maybe they'll do something cool. And I'm just like, no, like I completely got fooled with that.
Oh, it got so much worse.
I originally thought 7B was going to be the start of All Out War when they went to the hilltop and all that. I'm like, okay, they're going to go fight back. And then it goes on and on and on, and the war don't start till the finale. And I'm like, oh, great, we're going to have a whole season of them shooting outposts.
Well, also because the fact that it's like when Rick gets the gun back, like when Daryl gives him the gun back, I'm like, what a perfect moment to start everything. And then it's like, no, you got to wait a little bit longer. We have like all these other episodes. Like, make it a shorter season then. Like, if you have to, just make it 10 episodes or something.
Think about this. You have that moment there, right? And you're like, all right, it's time for war. A few episodes later, a whole episode of Michonne and Rick at the carnival looking for guns for the scrapyard people.
Well, not even just only that episode. That episode was bad enough as it is, but also I'm not a big fan either about the Eugene episode, the one right before that at the sanctuary. I'm like,
Hostiles and
what are we
Calamities.
do? Like,
That
what
was
are we
terrible.
doing here? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. They could have put those two episodes together, or like I did, like just eliminate them.
I actually did like Bury Me Here, though. I thought that was a great episode.
Oh yeah, keep that. It's in my personal opinion for season 7 standards, that's a masterpiece of an episode. But man, like so many other filler episodes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's see. Yeah, so Epic said it's me, it's Epic, I'm on my gaming channel. Alright, and he
Cool,
asked
man.
and he asked Dan, he asked you, would you consider that SWAT truck an icon in the Walking Dead universe? Althea's SWAT truck?
Oh, the
Yeah.
MRAP.
Yeah, I mean, man, like as a vehicle, wow. You know what the unfortunate thing is? That truck is so cool. Like I think that's something everybody needs in the apocalypse. But like the unfortunate thing is the writing in season 4 and season 5 with Althea as a character, it almost makes it to where it's like I almost forget about the SWAT vehicle because I almost try to forget about Althea as a character. But you know, just saying, I think. But either way, as a weapon for the apocalypse, definitely like iconic. Definitely something that they need to keep on the show. I just hate how many times though, like Althea's like, there's no medicine. I just wanted to get the van back. It's like, oh come on, man.
And now the Outcasts have it, the masked people.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm just like, yeah, Sherry has it now. It's like, man, Sherry, haven't you done enough this season? Like, seriously.
Oh, Sherry. Don't even get me started on Sherry.
Season 6 is so good. Like, it's such a good season. But it's like, man, can't they just fix that one thing about it? Like, I don't know.
It's like the one hair in the soup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Epic asks, hey Dan, do you see us ever getting a new line of Funko Pops for The Walking Dead like Beta or Jerry?
Well, I mean, you guys all know, you all know I have a huge like wall of like Funko Pops. One of many things, and then one of, just the Walking Dead ones that I use for the background of the videos. But like, I was actually sitting here the other day, and I'm like, because I got the T-Dog Pop for Christmas, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, but it's like, this is old. Like, release something new. Like, give us like a beta. Give us, I don't know, an updated Carol with like the longer hair and like the arrow and stuff.
The
And
fact that
while
T-Dog
I'm at it
doesn't
too,
pop.
is they should also do a fear line. Like, give us Alicia, Morgan, Dwight, like all these people.
Oh.
Like, where is it?
Dude, the fact that T-Dog has a pop and Beta doesn't, though.
Yeah, I know. Like, I have the T-Dog. I have the T-Dog, and I'm just like, dude, like, I would much rather trade this for a beta. Like, I don't know.
At the pace we're going, we're gonna get a Scott pop before Beta.
Oh, please, no.
You'll just see the people reviewing this. It's like, okay, there's this pop, there's this pop. Like, let's say there's a new line. It's like there's this pop, and then this one. Oh well, I don't know that guy, but he's in The Walking Dead, so I bought it anyway. And then moving on, like it's like what?
Yeah, people are just gonna be like, oh, that guy in the background that says stuff in once a season.
That was kind of people's reaction to the Richard pop. Except not as bad, but I have the Richard pop, and I still can't even believe I have it. I still can't believe I actually bought it.
I'm shocked there's a Richard. I didn't even know there was a Richard pop.
Same.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like, oh, no, like, why'd I buy this? Like, oh.
In my opinion, at least Richard was a character that served a purpose, whereas Scott's just there.
Yes, Richard at least had kind of an impact. I mean, he at least, I don't know, they had a decent actor, but like Scott, it's just like, man, why is he on here? Like, his wife is not even on the show anymore. Like, it's just, I don't get it.
It's so random.
definitely. Like, can you imagine if they're like selling Scott Pops? It's like buy a Scott Pop now. They're hot. It's like no, literally, like in the commercial, they're on fire. They're setting them on fire because no one's buying them or something like that. I mean, just
They would literally have to do like they have to have like the Scott Pop, just like a bunch of like videos of people like burning it and stuff, and then you just see the price like go way down or something like.
yeah,
Imagine they're just giving them away. Like, is anyone want a Scott Pop?
You
Yeah.
just like have like you just have like 20 to like 30 pops in the store or something, all just Scott Pops lined up. All the other ones have sold out, and you just have Scott that just sits there for years.
Sitting there collecting dust.
yeah. Like I can imagine like a corporate board office just like full of people in suits just being like, I don't understand it. Why aren't they buying the Funko Pops? We're geniuses, you know, like or the Scott Pops, you know, like we're geniuses. We know what they want, and it's like no, you guys really don't. You guys really need a fan perspective in these decisions.
Man, you think the Funko Pops have slowed down now? Man, just imagine once they like if they ever did a Scott Pop, they would just stop making them because like they'd be like, oh well, it seems like nobody's buying the Walking Dead Pops anymore. It's like no, we're buying it. We just don't want the Scott one. Just to get rid of that idea completely.
Honestly, with Scott, right? I honestly saw a prime opportunity to kill him off, and in my opinion, it should have been Laura's death in the episode Stalker.
Yeah, but I would agree with that. But the thing is that it's bad. I feel like it's bad enough he already got to like season 10. I personally think he have him die in like No Way Out even like there's no point to his character. I feel like.
He could have taken Comic Morgan's death, actually.
Or Gabriel's.
Yeah, I mean,
or Gabriel's.
that's another one.
Or Gabe's, yeah.
Like okay, you guys know like we're friends, we're brothers, like we're you know what I mean, we're there for each other. But I will like if they make a Scott Pop before an Alicia Pop, I will lose faith in humanity. I will just be like, okay, there's no good in humans anymore. Like you know what I mean, just the fact that we don't have an Alicia one. I mean,
that is a crime, and also because you got to admit the actress that plays Alicia, like somehow, some way, I have no idea how this is even possible, but the TV show The 100, which she's also in, is somehow so popular. So I'm just like, well, like she's a slightly, I feel like she's a popular enough actress for them to do a pop of her character and for people to buy it. Like I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a question on the Discord. Who is Redemption Dust?
Oh, it's Mickey. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he wasn't. I was just wondering. Thanks for telling me.
Slash Warper.
Yeah, it's Warper too from Wasteland World.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. We have a few more. Oh, Epic asks, what's the best to worst Walking Dead merchandise? That is a great question. So best, it might be one of the action figures, like maybe, I could be wrong, but maybe one of the action figures of like Negan and Glenn. Like, didn't they do like a 2-pack? Like that may be one of the best ones. Like some of the action figures. And as far as the worst ones, so not including Survival Instinct, the game, I would say, the Oceanside, box, the box that they did or something like that. Like, do you guys remember?
Oh yeah,
the supply drop,
whole like Oceanside themed thing.
Yeah, another bad one in my opinion was the Muddy Daryl Funko Pop. That was really bad.
Well, I have right here, like with these pops, I have 5 Daryls. I have 5 Daryls. That is way too many, and I only have 2 Ricks. Like what?
Yeah, and the fact that there's no beta yet, there's like 5 Daryls. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. They just do it, like I said, because he's the most popular character. I'm just like, okay, cool, but can't we get some other characters that we've been asking for? Like, I don't know.
Definitely.
I actually was at a comic store a few months back, and I was actually able to find an OG McFarlane Toys Shane action figure. Still have him in his packaging.
Yeah, I have him right here up on my wall too. I actually have the same figure. It's the one with like Shane, like where he has like the shotgun and he has like there's like a picture of the farm on the back of the box and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that one like it's such a shame because actually that's ironic. That is a figure that like barely does like has any kind of like articulation or anything like that, like compared to the other figures. Because like the box is so cool, but the figure, I'm like, it's okay. Like, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
classic. I think
yeah,
McFarlane Toys got shut down, did they not?
It's either that they got shut down or like they just lost interest, maybe, because they even had a few of the 7-inch figures. They were going to make a season 8 Rick, season 8 Maggie, and a season 8 Negan, and then those just never happened. So I don't know.
What's been the ratings then?
Which
probably.
I don't get. I don't get because I mean, even though I'm not a big season 8 fan, I would definitely buy a season 8 Rick, season 8 Maggie, and a season 8 Negan.
Oh, season 8 Rick's one of my favorite designs of the character, personally.
I
Really?
like the blue shirt with the machine gun and stuff. It looks cool, like visually for a figure. I think that would have been a home run.
Easily.
Let's see. Epic asks, Dan, let's see, he asked you, the Pops in the Walking Dead supply drop boxes are getting pathetic now. A black and white Negan, seriously. Oh, they did. Yeah,
Well, I
they did one,
mean,
right?
the Negan one, the out of the new box, like I'll be straight up honest with you guys. I actually did get a few messages from people saying, Dan, are you gonna ever do like supply drop box, like opening, like unboxings for videos and stuff? And I'm like, I would love to get a supply drop box if they actually had useful, like if they actually had good like items, then I may consider it. But for the money you pay and what you get, I'm sorry, the pops are cheaply made. They're just like a variant of something we already have, and it's just a waste of money, honestly. Same goes for the deluxe comics they've been making recently.
Oh, I won't buy those. I'm just like gonna buy. I would literally just look at them online, honestly.
Well, I like issue 6 actually released today, and usually I go and actually get them today. I didn't feel like it. I just didn't go. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I actually agree with what you said in your 2020 videos. I wish that they would just do the more Negan Lives comics and just discontinue this deluxe thing.
Well, it's a new story. I do see like maybe Kirkman's like point of view where he's like, well, what can we really do with the character? But I'm like, it's Negan, man. Like you can figure it out. I don't know. Compared to the deluxe comics, at least it'd be a new story that we could review every month. Like it's just not like it's not. There's no point to it.
Plus, I loved issue 1 of Negan Lives. I thought it was a good like slow-paced character like look at Negan.
Well, I didn't love it. Like I didn't love the comic because like I feel like I don't know, there were some points in it that could have been better in my opinion, but I would still much rather see Negan's story continue than just recoloring the comic. Like I just if they want to do comics, like if they want to do the deluxe comics, just do like the 4 compendiums and be done with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, like, and the fact that we're gonna have to wait, and imagine this, we gotta wait like actual like this long to see this in color, but we gotta wait like what? Like, I think it's gonna take at least 10 years before we get to the Commonwealth arc in color.
Yeah, and I honestly promise everybody that's watching the stream and everybody that's on here, I will not if they're still releasing those in like 10 years from now, you will not see me actually buying those still. I will just if Kirkman just decides, you know what, okay, fine, let's just do these in like, you know, compendiums, then I'll buy them. Then maybe I'll review them. But the individual issues every 2 weeks, especially, it just takes out time in my day where I could be doing other things, honestly.
Not to mention it's a cash grab. Like, they're literally robbing you for a thing you've already seen, except, ooh, there's color now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that I really was considering getting the deluxe, but I didn't even buy the first issue. Like I just wanted to save my money, and since I'm going back to school in spring next year, I'm kind of glad I did because I had to literally pay out of my own pocket, you know, for the classes.
Yeah, well, honestly, like I did the reviews for what I think I'd have to check. I think I did the reviews for the first like 4 issues, and I'm just like, okay, like I see like these Walking Dead TV show videos I'm doing, and like a lot of people are watching them and stuff. And then my deluxe comics, I'm seeing like a few people, but it's not like anything crazy. And I'm just like, well, why do it when like almost nobody really cares about the deluxe comics? So that's why I just kind of dropped it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Honestly, the deluxe comics are such a ripoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd rather just save my money for the season 10 Blu-ray.
Yeah. Well, we know full well that's probably going to be more money too this year, like coming up. Which can I please add? I was so sad that we didn't get like a Blu-ray this year. So I'm more excited than ever to get a Blu-ray because I'm just like, man, like I love getting the Blu-rays every year. So I'm excited.
And the
Have
deleted scenes and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
have you
I can't wait to see that. Would you guys imagine if they had like a big reveal, the most shocking deleted scene in the world? Like you just have like Negan and he's like he calls out for Beta in the finale and they actually fight. Like they just cut out like a lot of the fight or something.
Oh, I wish, dude.
Like the whole like 4 alpha thing, like right before Daryl comes up behind him, the 4 alpha thing is like secretly like 3 minutes after they've been fighting. Like I would love that.
what do you guys think the season 10 Blu-ray cover should be? If you can make it.
Um, it's actually I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I've seen some people say it's going to be the picture of I obviously I can't like put up a picture or anything, but it's just think it's the picture of Daryl, Carol, and Michonne at like the canyon, and you see like all the walkers down there and stuff. That's the one I think they may use, but it could also be the alpha screaming picture that they've used.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, I don't want to see the Alpha screaming one. It's been done. Also, I don't think it's a good cover for everyone. But like, Daryl. Okay, so Daryl, Michonne, Carol, and Negan. I feel like you gotta have those four, and maybe Judith, but like definitely the main four. I would say.
You
My
know,
like dream cover art for this would be them four in front of like the herd. The herd's coming towards them, and then you see in like a shadowy outline above the herd is a Commonwealth soldier.
yeah, that would be so cool. They got to do something because, well, I'm kind of sad about this too because it's like they never made a poster while Denai Guerrero was on for Daryl, Carol, Michonne, and Negan. So now they're probably just gonna have like Daryl, Carol, and Michonne. I'm just like, oh man, like put Negan there, please. Like come on, like we gotta all admit Negan did a lot in season 10.
Season 10 is Negan's season, in my opinion.
It's the season where everybody can actually enjoy his character, where he's not, hurting people we care about, or he's doing stuff like for once in season 10, we're actually behind the people he takes down, like Brandon and like other people like that,
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus he's not a villain or a prisoner. He's actually out there doing stuff for the group, and in my opinion, he's fully redeemed in my opinion. And honestly, Maggie just needs to stay away from Negan.
Well, I mean, honestly, with the whole Maggie thing, I'm gonna just say I feel like Maggie had her chance. I feel like, if they have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and we know he's not because now they've confirmed that he's gonna be in the final season now, and I'm just like, okay, like talk about spoilers, but like it's kind of I feel like the whole Maggie thing, like if they had Lauren Cohan return after all this time, and then they just have Jeffrey Dean Morgan leave because she's back, everybody will be mad. Like at least a lot of people will be like, "Really, you have Maggie return, and then now Jeffrey Dean Morgan has to leave?" Like I would not be happy with that.
I feel like people would be mad at Lauren Cohan too because she left The Walking Dead just to be on another show, and it's almost like there's no like. I feel like you should have some sort of loyalty to like the main show that you're on.
Yeah, I'm not very happy with her right now, I'll be honest. I'm not even really that happy with the Maggie character. I don't want to hate because, I still there's times where I do like Maggie's character, but like just I liked her more in the older seasons. Now I'm just annoyed with her. Like I don't hate her. It's like Carol, like I get annoyed with her easy.
Yeah, agreed.
it, yeah, it kind of seemed like after Glenn, Maggie just, I don't know, kind of downgraded as a character. Like she didn't like in the comics she grew as a character, but in the show she kind of became less of a character with after Glenn died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Like she's become a B-lister in my opinion rather than an A-lister.
Oh, and you know full well, and they better not do this too, because I'll be so mad if they actually do this. After all this time Lauren's been off the show, would you imagine if, like, because they're like, well, who do we put on the main posters? It's always Daryl, Carol, and Michonne after Rick left. But now that Michonne's gone, Daryl and Carol, it's like not enough. Let's put Maggie on there. It's like, no, put Negan on there at this point. Like, honestly.
Honestly, in my opinion, out of all the stuff that Negan has done in season 10 and 9B, he did some good stuff too. I feel like Negan, in my opinion, has done more for the group than Maggie has. just because Maggie's been gone for I think she's been gone for at least 5 or 4 years. And
Well,
he's actually been helping out with the group. He took down Alpha. He saved Judith's life.
yeah. I mean, talk about a controversial topic here, but I'm sorry. As a Rick fan, Rick obviously being my favorite character, I gotta say it again because I've said it in like many videos. But honestly, I do hold Maggie kind of responsible for what happened to Rick. If Maggie didn't freak out and try to go kill Negan, which she didn't even kill him in the end anyway, Rick, and obviously it's behind the scenes stuff. Andrew Lincoln wanted to leave, but I'm sorry, the way they played it out in the TV show, it makes Maggie's character and kind of Daryl too look bad. Like it really does.
In my opinion, it is more Daryl than Maggie because he's the one who actually took him out there and fought him and put him out in danger and all that.
Well, Daryl should have just been a good friend and not be so darn reckless. Because honestly, that's the other thing. He should have been a better friend to Rick. Honestly.
Yeah, it annoyed me that Daryl would actually do that to basically his brother.
I like Daryl in season 9, but I'll be honest, I only like Daryl in season 9 after Rick's gone. Like Daryl in the first 5 episodes, it still feels like season 8 Daryl, just more dialogue.
Hey,
agreed.
Hey, do you guys think after what happened with Rick, do you guys think that Daryl kind of did his job distracting Rick, but then it went so bad, and then do you guys think that Maggie eventually told Daryl that oh yeah, I didn't actually kill Negan, and can you imagine Daryl's reaction? Wait a minute, so I just did that we did that to Rick, and you didn't even do the other half of the job. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just something I just noticed. Can you imagine if Daryl thinks I did this for nothing? We did this for nothing, and look what happened.
It's kind of sad. I love the time skip in season 9. I think it brings a new life to the show after Rick goes. But little scenes like you just mentioned, I wish we could have seen Daryl's reaction to that. Because I'm sorry, I hate to say it, Daryl considers Maggie family, but I feel like he considers Rick family more so than Maggie, I would say. And I just feel like he would be absolutely furious. I feel like all he did though was go in the woods. I feel like after that, it just started that whole Daryl is in the woods for 6 years, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he actually did disappear from the group after that, and he left.
The only time he came around was during Scars to help out Michonne. That's basically right. It.
Yeah, he did come back for that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Let's see, Epic. Let's see. Wow. We're at 2 hours now. Let's see. Let's try to get Epic's questions out real quick. Let's see. He asked all 3 of us, do you see the season 10 being the best DVD and Blu-ray in the franchise? I don't know. That's kind of hard to say because they would have to put in a lot of deleted scenes, really good deleted scenes, and a really good cover too. I would say they need those things to make a great Blu-ray.
Well, I mean, honestly, if they take my idea, which this would offend the fans so much, especially people like us that we rant about the fight with Beta and Negan this whole time. But just you guys imagine that reveal we get in August that it's they filmed it. They just deleted it for time purposes. I would be no, extend it a couple extra minutes to show us the fight. I don't know.
Yeah, retcon the fight. Make it this is the real canon fight.
Yeah, that I would be so I would be happy because then I'd be okay, finally the season 10 finale actually is almost perfect, But then it's I don't know. I feel at that point the fans would just be so mad. They'd be happy we saw it finally, but they'd be guys, bad move deleting this.
Yeah, I don't think there is a fight scene that was ever filmed though, because Norman Reedus is the one that decided there shouldn't be a fight scene.
Which honestly, cool. Norman Reedus is I guess the lead now, even though he doesn't like to be referred as the he doesn't like being called the lead. But I'm sorry, I personally think that they should have been Norman. All due respect, but we're fighting. We're gonna have the fight go down. No offense.
Yeah. Plus, JDM and Ryan Hurst said they were waiting to do that scene. They wanted to do it so bad.
talk about Daryl. Not only does Daryl take like a bunch of comic scenes from like other characters, but now the actor is like starting to ruin things too. It's like we all love Norman Reedus, but come on, man, like.
Exactly. Forget Scott Gimple. He's running the show. You know what I mean? Norman Reedus. He just has to say one thing, and boom, it's
like,
gonna happen.
I feel like if Norman were to say anything on set, like it's like, oh, it's Norman's way or the highway.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like they treat Norman like royalty, honestly, and I'm just
definitely.
like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's like, all right, you got decent opinions maybe sometimes, but not this one.
Yeah.
No, that fight needed to happen, like straight up.
We needed Lucille too, but I mean, Gimple messed that one up, so.
Yeah.
The breaking of Lucille, like, what the heck?
Yeah, do you guys imagine if like the reason why Angela didn't like maybe it was like a mix of like Norman saying like we should shorten it, but also like do you imagine if like Angela's just like, well, I don't have Lucille, so what's the point? Like I would be so mad if that was her reasoning.
Yeah, there needed to be a fight between those two. I mean, the fact that Beta was literally like hyped up to be like this like major threat for this finale. I feel like Daryl and Negan needed to like tag team him. Imagine how epic the fight would have been too.
Well, I mean, and they had a perfect it was perfectly like it was the perfect time. As soon as like Negan like called over Beta and Beta like pushed over the walkers to get to Negan, I'm like, okay, this is about to be like the best fight ever. And then as soon as he's like 4 Alpha and Daryl like comes up behind him, it's like, are you serious right now? Like, no, please tell me this is a dream or something. And I'm like, no, it's real. Like, what?
At the time, I didn't compute it fully. Like I didn't process it. Like, because I was like, oh, he's dead. Like, I was shocked, right? Like, he's dead. And then the episode ended, and I'm sitting there like, oh, that was insane. And then about an hour later goes by, and I'm like, wait, where was the fight?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sitting here also thinking to myself, I'm just like I feel like the thing that made it seem so awesome, I feel like that's what it did to a lot of us. They spent so much time, I feel like, focusing on how amazing his death is with the flashbacks and the taking out the knives and stuff from like his eyes and stuff. Because don't get me wrong, the death, keep that whole thing. It was, but like the fight part, that's when like everybody's just like, where was it? It's like non-existent.
Yeah, there needed to be a fight. Like it's like that awful, and I'm just gonna say it, but the final battle of All Out War, Rick versus Negan, I thought was a bad fight. And like you leave that
definitely
in, but then you have Negan versus Beta, you just skip it. Yet Rick and Negan get to fight 3 separate times.
Yeah, Negan never really got to fight Beta, not even one minor way. It was just Daryl. Beta.
You know what was the best part of the Negan versus Beta? If we could even call that Negan versus Beta. The best part about it, and this is the one thing I think they did right, which is unfortunate because they could have used the music for longer because the music was absolutely amazing. But it's like, but then the fight, it's like, no, guys, keep using that music. That's good. But then just let them fight a little bit more. Like, well, no, way more. But yeah.
How is it that an injured Morgan versus a 1-episode character was more epic than a confrontation that was building up all season?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, honestly, like, I hate to say it, but as much as I think we can all agree, that fight with Rick and Negan was absolutely disappointing. But that, somehow, some way, that actually is better. Like, it's actually better than the Negan versus Beta, because at least they had a fight. I mean, man, like at least like Negan beat up Rick a little bit. Like, I don't know.
I feel like Rick versus Negan didn't need to happen a third time. I thought that battle with the Flaming Lucille should have been their last fight, and then Negan should have just like, I don't know, like 3 fights seems pretty excessive in my opinion.
I find it crazy that like Gimple kind of pulled an Angela Kang in season 8. Like, he made episode 12, like a random episode, a better episode than the actual finale. Like, he kind of did an Angela Kang thing, because Angela Kang doesn't do like big finales. She kind of has like every once in a while you get like these big episodes.
Yeah, like Walk With Us.
Yeah, exactly. Like that one, that's a good example of one. And also yeah, like that one in Morningstar and Stalker, those 3 in a row were really strong episodes, if you ask me.
Yeah, beautiful trilogy of episodes there.
Yeah.
I like to call those episodes the Whisper War. Like those are the 3 like Whisper War episodes.
Yeah, and then we build up for like 8 episodes before that. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's a very short but like sweet kind of thing.
Well, even though I argue the battle should not have spilled into another episode. That should have been one episode, like Game of Thrones style. You build up to it, extend the episode, and have this awesome fight.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of fans like to say like, yeah, like certain doom was the end of the Whisper War. In my opinion, Alpha's death was the end of the Whisper War, and Beta and the Horde was just like a last ditch effort to get revenge for Alpha's death,
Yeah, that's true.
like an aftermath kind of thing.
Hey guys, I hate to say this now, like kind of sudden, but I actually do have to end the stream in a couple more minutes.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries.
Thanks. So we got some more questions from Epic, so I'm gonna try and read through them kind of fast. Let's see. He says, in my opinion, the worst cover art for the Walking Dead DVD or Blu-ray is season 6. Q&A. Q&A for all 3 of us. Do you agree that Frank Delane wasn't loyal to Fear the Walking Dead? Right. I mean, he was a part of a huge franchise, and he wanted out. That's kind of tricky.
In my opinion, actors should sign contracts.
Exactly. At least like several seasons. Like I don't know, like 1 to 5 or 7 seasons. Like because like when you have an actor who stays for just 3 seasons minimum, or like Corey Hawkins 1 season, it's like it's kind of like, okay, well, why do you even get them to sign, or why do you even get that actor? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like
my whole thing about Nick's death is that they should have just done it to where like, cause like they obviously these, I hate to say it, but these terrible showrunners, honestly, like they knew Madison was going to be gone. At least at that point, they wrote her to be dead. Who even knows what's going on now? But like they knew Madison was gone. Then I feel like they should have been to like Frank Delane, like, listen, like, I'm sorry, but can you just please stay a little bit longer? This is already hard enough on the fans, like, that we're like completely like making this show something else, you know?
Exactly. I mean, if the actor wanted to leave, I would have either tried to convince him or just killed him off and then just kept Madison. I wouldn't have killed off both. I would have tried to save one or the other.
Well, Kim Dickens wanted to stay too, so
Yeah.
they should have just kept her
Nick
on.
and keep Madison.
Yeah.
Epic asks, hey Dan, in your rewrites, please tell me you rewrote Daryl. He better not be like season 8 Daryl.
Well, I mean, actually, first of all, too, Epic. I don't know. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I'm not sure, but I don't think I've actually seen you on my rewrite episode. So definitely, I would love to hear what you think about the rewrites. Definitely, but in terms of the Daryl stuff, I mean, I think we can all say that so far in these first 3 episodes of like the second half of the season, Daryl is talking more. He's more strategic. He's not so reckless. I mean, I even had it to where in the most recent episode, him and Rick both find that truck together. Like, but they don't go crazy. They don't go like to the sanctuary or all that stuff. Like they do their own thing. They find Michonne and they continue. And Daryl in season 8, at least in the main TV show version, I would not dare do anything like that because I could not stand Daryl in those seasons.
Agreed. Yeah, season 8 Daryl was like, ugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. All right, guys, we are all caught up now. And Dan, Matt, I want to thank you guys so much for coming with me for 2 hours and helping me host this live stream.
Absolutely, man. This was super fun. I don't think actually we've ever had like a stream where the 3 of us are actually talking back and forth like this. So was
definitely not. I changed the title to say with Dan and Matt. So like this is the first one for all 3 of us. And who knows, maybe we can get Epic or DeRosa, so it could be like 4. Like that would be crazy.
Yeah, Epic. Epic. Also, I think Epic would be awesome to have him on there as well too.
If you guys are down, like for tomorrow, like I was thinking tomorrow we could do like a New Year's stream where we talk about like a lot of Fear 6B, 10C, and World Beyond Season 2. Like we really go in depth on those topics there.
By the way, any idea like what time we would do that for tomorrow?
Probably around this time, like 8. We'd start at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then end it off around like this time.
All right, perfect.
So like, yeah, if you guys want to do that, if you're not too busy, like with like New Year's plans or anything, like let me know.
No, I've got some things to do tomorrow, but around that time I'm pretty much free, so I will definitely do that.
And Mickey will be joining us too, so you get to meet Mickey.
Perfect. Yeah, the man himself, Warper.
Warper.
Okay. So yeah, next, I guess I can do. Okay, so for tomorrow, I can definitely do a live stream. It's just that we're going to talk about 10C and World Beyond Season 2, and but just one thing. Okay, so I do have work all day tomorrow, so it might be like around 8 o'clock ish more. Like it might be like closer to 8, like 8:20 at the latest, maybe. Or I don't know. Like I would say that's a good time for me.
Yeah, 8:20 works pretty good. Like I said, around 8:20 would be a good time because that's around the time that I'm like completely like free for tomorrow. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
perfect.
And it would just be like a New Year's stream. It would probably end just like a little bit before midnight, or like it would go around. No, yeah, it would go around to like 10 something, I think. So
You guys just imagine us all like yelling over the stream like once it actually like like if we reached like the actual like New Year's time, like we all just yell Happy New Year and stuff. That would be hilarious.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
It would, but I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I don't know if my family wants to, like I guess like countdown with me, like downstairs, or so yeah, I need to figure that out. But yeah, so tomorrow, 8:20, World Beyond Season 2, Fear, the rest of Fear Season 6, and what else? World. Did I miss something else?
10C.
Okay, yeah,
10C, The Walking Dead.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. So yeah, 8:20, I think we can start that live stream, and yeah, that sounds great. So
Yeah, and I also, just to add too, before the stream ends, I'd also like to add, can we please all just acknowledge the fact that Fear is like beforehand, if this was like before season 6, we would all be like, let's just talk about Walking Dead or something, but now we're just like, Fear, that is a priority to talk about now.
Fear's actually my most hyped thing to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, it is, because the additional episodes, like, while I'm excited for them, I'm a little worried about filler, honestly. I'm excited, but I'm kind of like nervous about the filler stuff.
Yeah, I could see that happening, yeah.
Epic says, thanks for another amazing stream, Brian. And he asked you, hey, Matt, when are you going to stream again?
It should be pretty soon. Tomorrow, we'll all be doing a collab stream again, so there'll be that. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely catch that, honestly. Everybody, I don't know if it's just Epic here, but if anybody else is listening, definitely catch tomorrow's stream. It's going to be awesome.
Be a good one.
Okay, so we're all going to be here on my channel tomorrow?
I guess we'll do your channel, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. I have to go downstairs. I think my family's calling for me. So yeah, guys,
Perfect,
thank you so much. I will talk to you tomorrow, and stay safe and healthy out there, guys, because it's getting pretty bad, with the second wave.
Yes,
All right.